Hey, well, that intro ended faster than expected. Hey,
Oop.
well, that intro.
Okay,
audio's working. Ended faster than expected. Anyway, yeah, that ended faster than expected. I was in the middle of smoking. Now my mom is gonna be like, rah, if she sees this, or my dad, I guess. Anyway. I'm back. I'm back into the city. I'm in New York City. It's my first time back since March 10th is when I left. And my sister snatched me up from COVID. And I avoided all of it. So, yeah, I'm back, man. I'm back. So, it feels good. Have my apartment. I'm chilling. I am ready to just stream and work on the comic book and chilling. Thanks. Everyone say I look good. I look like crap, actually. I didn't even do my hair. Look at this, like, crazy... Look at this crazy hair that I got going on. It's fucking wild. It's wild. Do you still... What, streaming? Yeah, I'm streaming it all. Streaming it all. Dave Incognito said, just wanted to say the ladies you're up against this round are better organized than the last set. The one in first place looks trashy. You need to win this. Thanks, Dave Incognito. What he is talking about is the link Jay just sent. That's for this silly little competition that I'm doing. So vote for me if you guys can't contribute financially. Send me, the Streamlabs or Super Chats or whatever, the donations. If you can't do that, I would appreciate you voting. You can vote every day and help me say F you to the haters and get me on the cover of a magazine, and makes up for some lost income that they've done to me. So $25K the cover, and it's also an opportunity to get like someone on like our side on the cover of a magazine, Infiltrate. And you know what, it's just like this stupid like lads mag is what Jack would say. It's a lads mag, and we bitch and complain about degeneracy. Like, let's get some alchemy shit in there. So go get me to first place. It's also my birthday tomorrow, so it's the big 3-5. So give me some votes, please. That'd be great. Oh, second place. That's good. That's good. Line up against the wall, haters. We're gonna kill the haters. Okay. Yeah, this hair is like insane right now. I didn't even do it. Good evening, good evening. We got typical Tiffany in here. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect for the etiquette stream. Hello, hello. So, we haven't done etiquette in a while, and where we have left off, what did we do last time? Thanks, Luke Johnson. Where did we leave off last time? No slatterns allowed. That's right. Slattern is a word that we learned from this etiquette book. So we're going over Emily Post's Etiquette. It was published in 1922, and Emily Post is the leading author on etiquette. And we are at chapter 14 now. Can you believe it? We started doing this like February or something, and here we are, we're at chapter 14, and we're going to be doing formal dinners, and I think it's going to be more than one stream to get through this chapter, because as you can see on the sides right here, it's really piling up on this list. I can't even read that all. I don't think you guys can read that all, and I actually even gave up putting everything up. Like over here, it just started going off like more and more and more and more. I didn't even get to the end of the chapter, and I was like, fuck it. No one can even read this shit right now. So, but yeah, we left off. The last chapter was it was quite short. It was chapter 13 was teas and other afternoon parties. So remember that we had the afternoon tea. With dancing, there's a menu, there's tea without dancing, there's do come in for a cup of tea, which is the casual tea, the everyday afternoon tea table, things people eat at tea, the etiquette of tea serving and drinking, the garden party, the atmosphere of hospitality, and that was chapter 13 on tea. So formal dinners is a little bit more involved, and in fact the first little few paragraphs, the first little mini section that we have here is it says not for the novice to attempt. So yeah, it's quite a chapter, and it starts off with not for the novice to attempt. And then we get into how a dinner is given in a great house. Okay. How a dinner can be bungled? Is it bungled? Bungled? Bungled. I guess that means like go wrong. Detailed directions for dinner giving. Taste and selection of people. I love that. I cannot wait to get to that part. In fact, I think last time I just had to read that part anyway when we went over it real quick to see what was next. But yeah, taste and selection of people. Wow. How a dinner list is kept. Asking someone to fill a place. importance of dinner engagements, the menu, the balanced menu, the dinner table of yesterday, the dining room, a pleasing dining room at limited cost, setting the table. So those of you that ask about setting the table, and whenever people think about etiquette, this is what they think of. They think of the dinner table and setting the table and which fork to choose. So here we are with setting the table section. Here we are. Setting the places. Okay. Have silver that shines or none. Don'ts in table setting. Correct service of dinner. The dinner hour. The butler in the dining room. The ever-present plate, the exchange plate, may the plates for 2 persons be brought in together, plate removed when fork is laid down. That's some like catering shit. That's stuff I'm familiar with from the other end, from the serving position. Double service and order of table precedence, filling glasses, presenting dishes, the serving table, clearing table for dessert. Okay, that reminds me of catering as well. You know you're getting to the end of the party, the end of the night when the desserts are coming out. Then we have dessert service, place cards, menu cards, seating table, seating the table, who is the guest of honor, the envelopes for the gentleman, the table diagram, when the hostess sits at the table, sidewalk, hall, and dressing rooms. Ooh, no, that's not the end. Announcing guests, announcing persons of rank. Okay. How a hostess receives at a formal dinner. The duty of the host when dinner is announced. The manners of the hostess. The late guest. I'm back in the city, so excuse that noise. I'm trying. I'm like in a enclosed small cubicle room, and it's hot, and I'm on like a 3rd floor, and the windows are closed, so there's no noise. The door is closed, so there's no noise. Anyway, etiquette of gloves and napkin. This is an important one. You take your gloves off when you're ready to eat. You don't eat with those right gloves. With the gloves. The turning of the table. Enemies must bury hatchets. I love that. I think that's another one that I read too. I think the lady starts reciting the multiplication tables with someone she doesn't like. It's a really good chapter too. Ooh, shit. Something's happening. Okay. Where are we at? Manners at the table. Attacking a complicated dish. Leaving the table. When the gentleman returned to the drawing room. Music or other entertainment after dinner. Very big dinners. Taking leave. The little dinner. Wow, this chapter is so big. The carving on the table. The stag or bachelor dinner. And that's it. Whew. Whew. Wow. And then you even have chapter 15 continues on with dinner, and it's giving dinner with limited equipment. Wow. There's a whole other chapter on dinner. So wow. We're going to do this for probably a few streams. That dinner is such a big deal. Such a big deal. So let me just check in on you guys. Okay, we got 30 people in here. Cool. Okay. Let me see. What are you guys talking about? What's happening? Okay, so let's see. Slattern free stream. That's right, Jay. Need a giant cigarette holder. I do have some vintage cigarette holders actually. Alf and Tiffany really need this etiquette stream. What are you guys talking about? Especially Tiffany. Tiffany more than me. Marino, I don't think that's very becoming. Yes, she is rather unpolished. My word, Tiffany, I never. I love you guys. You're great. Okay. I'm already prepared for dinner dress. I own 7 bow ties. Very nice, very nice. And one MC said you should be the official hostess of the next deplorable. Well, yeah, that'd be great to be a hostess or the entertainment for any sort of engagement. Or even like an event planner type thing, because I don't know how to make a good event. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's see if we can see the screen. I never get everything completed when I'm trying to stream. I'm always missing something. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so I'm hiding a little bit of it, whatever. But anyway, so we have chapter 14, formal dinners, not for the novice to attempt. Okay? If the great world of society were a university which issued degrees to those whom it trains to its usages, the magna cum laude honors would be awarded without question not to the hostess who may have given the most marvelous ball of the decade, but to her who knows best every component detail of preparation and service, no less than every inexorable rule of etiquette, informal dinner giving. To give a perfect dinner of ceremony is the supreme accomplishment of a hostess. It means not alone perfection of furnishings, of service, of culinary skills, but also of personal charm, of tact. Okay, it's all about tact. We've got to bring that word back to tact. It's just a good word, tact. The petri dish of society. Oh my God, it's funny. Okay, so to give the perfect dinner of ceremonies the supreme accomplishment of a hostess. It means not alone perfection of furnishings, of service, of culinary skills, but also personal charm and tact. The only other occasion when a hostess must have equal and possibly even greater ability is the large and somewhat formal weekend party, which includes a dinner or two, as by no means it is its least formidable features. There are so many aspects to be considered in dinner giving that it is difficult to know whether to begin upstairs or downstairs, or with furnishings, or service, or people, or manners. One thing is certain, no novice should ever begin her social career by attempting a formal dinner, any more than a pupil swimmer, upon being able to take 3 strokes alone, should attempt to swim 3 miles out to sea. The former will surely drown as the latter. Makes it sound so scary. You know what's funny about all this too is that when I was at my mom's house, she asked me to go through. She's moving, so she asked me from like our family home of like 30 years. So she like asked me to go through some of that china that we have just stored around. There's just like a ton of different sets with like 22 karat gold, like hand painted china. It's amazing. It's so cool, and it just made me like big giant punch bowls. Remember the whole punch bowl thing section in like covered in gold and stuff. Remember that section, I think in the tea party or one of the other sections, we went over that, and I remember them making this thing about the punch. Fun stuff. Dinah's in here. She said, formal dinner is so hard to learn all the high class manners. I'll just go have sushi. Sushi has its etiquette too, right? Sushi has its etiquette. Thank you, Butchko, for the happy birthday. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, okay. How a dinner is given in a great house. I like that they added the great house to that. When Mrs. Worldly, remember Mrs. Worldly? When Mrs. Worldly gives a dinner, it means no effort on her part whatsoever beyond deciding upon the date and the principal guests who are to form the nucleus. Every further detail is left to her subordinates, even to the completion of her list of guests. For instance, she decides that she will have an older dinner, and finding that the 10th is available for herself. She tells her secretary to send out invitations for that date. She does not have the special cards engraved, but uses the dinner blank described in the chapter on invitations. I don't know if you guys remember the invitations chapter, but we have different types of cards. There's dinner cards. There's just like the card. It's like a blank. It's a business card, but it's like blank. It doesn't have like your job on it and like stuff like that. It's just kind of like your name, like your address, and like you leave it, it's just like open white space so you can like write anything on it, like when you visit someone. It's a visiting card. There's different kinds of cards, so that's kind of a really cool idea. I really like that, this whole card thing. We should bring that back. But yeah, uses the dinner blank described in the chapter on invitations. She then looks through her dinner list and orders her secretary to invite the old worlds, the eminents, the learneds, the well-borns, the highbrows, and the once-wers. I love Emily Post names. The old worlds, the eminents, the learneds, the well-borns, the highbrows, and the once-wers. She also picks out 3 or 4 additional names to be substituted for those who regret, so those who cannot attend. Then, turning to the younger married list, she searches for a few suitable, amusing, or good-looking ones to give life to her dinner, which might otherwise be heavy. That's so, like, not politically correct today. How dare you select good-looking people? The once-wers. Anyway. Oop, shit. I actually used to do that too. Sometimes my agent would like book me to like events, and like I've worked like New Year's Eve parties and stuff as like a patron, while people in New York City are paying like $300 plus to like attend some like event in New York City for New Year's Eve. I was like paid $300 to like attend events because you need to fill a place up with good looking people. So I mean, it's a standard practice. Like they pay women to just like go to this thing for free and eat and drink whatever. Happens all the time. I just remember they were like complaining about Trump doing that too, like years ago, like during the election. It was like for like one of his things that he runs, businesses, and it was like golf club or something, and I was like, yeah, that's literally so many jobs in New York City are like for good looking girls only. Like that is the job requirement. Like try getting a job as like a bottle girl in a nightclub if you're not good looking. It's like the prerequisite, so sorry about it. Oh my god, Kensington. Where do I put the ketchup packet after I've poured it on my fries at a formal dinner? Is it okay to drop it on the floor? Oh my god, so funny. Okay, where are we? But her favorites do not seem appropriate. It will not do to ask Bob Gilding, not because of the difference in age, but because Lucy Gilding smokes like a furnace and is miserable unless she can play bridge for high stakes. And just as soon as she can bolt through a dinner, sit at a card table while Mrs. Highbrow and Mrs. Once Were quite possibly disapprove of women smoking and are surely horrified at gambling. I agree with the gambling, but the Smartlings won't do either for the same reason, nor the Gayleys. She can't ask the Newell Riches either, because Mrs. Oldworld and Mrs. Wellborn both dislike vulgarity too much to find compensation in qualities which are merely amusing. So she ends by adding her own friends, the Kindhearts and Normans, who go with everyone, and a few somewhat younger people, and approves her secretary's suggestions as to additional names if those first should regret. The list being selected, Mrs. Worldly's own work is done. She sends word to her cook that there will be 24 on the 10th. The menu will be submitted to her later, which she will probably merely glance at and send back. She never sees or thinks about her table, which is in the butler's province. On the morning of the dinner, her secretary brings her the place cards, the name of each person expected, written on a separate card, and she puts them in order in which they are to be placed on the table, very much as though playing solitaire. Ooh, love that. It's my favorite game. Starting with her own card at the end and her husband's at the other, she first places the lady of honor on the right, the second in importance on his left. Then on either side of herself, she puts the two most important gentlemen. The others she fits in between, trying to seat side by side those congenial to each other. So, it's quite interesting. So that's it. That's quite interesting that they like have like the head of the tables. Obviously, it's the host and hostess, but it's interesting that they pick like someone really special that sits to their like right or left or whatever I just read, and like the very like most important people kind of around her, and then like fill in the gap with everyone else. I mean, you'd think that that's like politically incorrect and like how dare you not treat like everyone equal, but you know that's the way it is. It's like these are my guests of honor or what have you, the like really important people and my friends that I want you all to meet, so, and interact well together. So that's cute. Look at that cute little setup. That fireplace in the background, all the silver, that looks lovely. Detail of place set at a formal dinner table of a great house. Aww. When the cards are arranged, the secretary attends to putting the name of the lady who sits on each gentleman's right in the envelope addressed to him. She then picks up the place cards still stacked in their proper sequence, and takes them to the butler, who will put them in the order arranged on the table after it is set. 15 minutes before the dinner hour, Mrs. Worldly is already standing in her drawing room. She has no personal responsibility other than that of being hostess. The whole machinery of equipment and service runs seemingly by itself. It does not matter whether she knows what the menu is. Her cook is more than capable of attending to it. That the table shall be perfect is merely the everyday duty of the butler. She knows without looking that one of the chauffeurs is on the sidewalk, that footmen are in the hall, and that her own maid is in the ladies' dressing room, and that the valet in that of the gentleman and her butler is just outside the door near which she is standing. So with nothing on her mind except a jeweled ornament and perfectly done hair, she receives her guests with the tranquility attained only by those whose household, whether great or small, can be counted on to run like a perfect coordinated machine. So it's quite interesting, and I have worked as a server in many parties that are like that, and as an entertainer for parties that were like that. I liked being treated as an entertainer better than the service. Yeah, it's definitely treated better. But that is kind of a point about this whole trad thing where they act like women need to be slaving away in the kitchen and all this stuff. I mean, this is Victorian shit that I'm reading right now. The book was published in 1922, but a lot of these customs, I mean, probably predate Victorian era, but like her kind of time, a lot of this etiquette is from the Victorian time period, and so this is pretty old school, and it goes to show you it's not the woman away slaving in the kitchen, never to be seen or heard for the husband's guest. I mean, you see how they always make the woman, I mean, the hostess is just super important. Women are very important. They're beautiful. They're meant to be by your side. They're there entertaining just as the man is, and receiving guests. They're not slaving away. They have service to do all that, to work on that. So I mean, that's a really great old school household. We'll see what the following chapters on a limited service or whatever they said, household, and how to do it. But it is quite, I personally like cooking. I love cooking and feeding people. It's alchemy to me. Cooking and making things is alchemy, and then people ingest what you've put your energy and love into. I mean, there's nothing more alchemy than that. So I personally love it, but I can see how you having an event, having guests over that want to see you and hang out with you, and they can't because you're slaving away in the kitchen, and then they go, do you need help? Do you want help? And then they're like hanging out with you, then they're doing things, and then they're trying to do the dishes. It's just like, that's not really fun. It's good to just hang out and be with your guests when you invite them over and have service provided. Day to day, maybe that's different. But yeah, let me see what you guys are talking about. What? You guys are talking about like Trump and like Supreme Court justices? Damn. No love. Why does this like camera get so bright? It gets so fucking bright. Let me fix this. I think that's better. Might have to turn the brightness down. Yet again. Oof. My neck like hurts when I sit on this. Like, it's already hurting and I've only been on this for 36 minutes. Damn. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So it has been 36 minutes. We will continue this, but I just want to make a point. Really need your help to reach my goal. Oh no, I have to reset my Streamlabs. I never finished doing everything pre-stream. I gotta get into my groove, man. Gotta get into my groove. Let's set up this goal, this end goal, and we're gonna do, what is the calendar week? Calendar. We are at 5 to 11. 5 to 11. July 5 to 11. All right. Boom. If you want to help me reach my goal this week, it's my birthday week, or it's my birthday tomorrow, birthday week, I guess. You get big 352. I think it's a big one. You can help me reach my goal by going to that link over here, streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV. Thank you. See. All right, let's get back to it. You guys, I'm just chilling. Oh my god, it's so bright when that screen comes on. Hold on. Fix this brightness. Let's try that. It's still kind of bright. Okay. How a dinner can be bungled? Is that how I say it? Bungled, right? Bungled. A task carried out clumsily or incompetently. That's what it says. Incompetently. So a task carried out clumsily or incompetently. Bungled. Okay. Sounds good. Fuck, man. I tried being decent on this stream. It's way too fucking hot. I gotta take it off. Fuck, it's hot. Alright. Bungled. How a dinner can be bungled. This is the contrasting picture to the dinner at the Worldlies. Okay? A picture to show you particularly who are a... What? Bride. What are they saying? This is the contrasting picture to the dinner at the Worldlies. A picture to show you particularly who are a bride, how awful an experiment in dinner can be giving. Okay? Dinner giving can be. Let us suppose that you have a quite charming house and that your wedding presents included everything necessary to set a well-appointed table. You have not very experienced servants, but they would all be good ones with a little more training. You have been at home for so few meals, you don't quite know how experienced they are. Your cook at least makes a good coffee and eggs and toast for breakfast and a few other meals. She has cooked, seems to be all right, and she is such a nice, clean person. So when your house is in order and the last picture and curtains are hung, the impulse suddenly comes to you to give a dinner. Your husband thinks it is a splendid idea. It merely remains to decide whom you will ask. You hesitate between a few of your own intimates or older people and decide it would be such fun to ask a few of the hostesses whose houses you have almost lived at ever since you came out. You decide to ask Mrs. Toplofty, Mr. Clubwindow, the Worldlies, the Gildings, and the Kindhearts, and the Wellborns. With yourselves, that makes 12. You can't have more than 12 because you have only a dozen of everything. In fact, you decide that 12 will be pretty crowded, but that it will be safe to ask that number because a few are sure to regret. So you write notes, since it is to be a formal dinner, and they all accept. You are a little worried about the size of the dining room, but you are overcome by the feeling of your popularity. Now the thing to do is prepare for a dinner. In fact, that Nora probably can't make fancy dishes does. The fact that Nora is that the cook? Are we naming her Nora now? The fact that Nora probably can't make fancy dishes does not bother you a bit. In your mind's eye, you see delicious plain food passed. You must get Sigrid a dress that properly fits her, and Delilah, the chambermaid, who was engaged with the understanding that she was to serve in the dining room when there was company, has not yet been at the table, but she is a very willing young person who will surely look well. Nora, when you tell her who are coming, eagerly suggests the sort of menu. Okay, it is the cook. Nora, when you tell her who are coming, eagerly suggests the sort of menu that would appear on the table of the Worldlies or Gildings. You are thrilled at the thought of your own kitchen producing the same. That might be the same in name only. That it may be the same in name only does not occur to you. You order flowers for the table and candy for I don't know what that word is. Looking it up. Bungled. Wow, it doesn't even have this anymore. Let me see if there's a pronunciation.
Competier.
Okay, so competier is... It's French.
Competier.
Alright, well, what the fuck does it mean? What does it mean? Okay, so competier is a china or glass dish in which stewed or preserved fruit or the like is served. Also sometimes compote. Oh, okay, I know what a compote is. Competier. Okay. I know what a compote is. Okay, what were we saying about a competier? Nora, she's, you tell the cook who's coming, and you suggest a menu that would be like the Worldlies or the Gildings. You hope that it's being produced the same, and maybe the same in name only. You order flowers for the table and candy for your competiers. What? Okay, anyway. You pick out your best tablecloth, but you find rather to your amazement that when the waitress asks about setting the table, you have never noticed in detail how the places are laid. Knives and spoons go on the right of the plate, of course, and forks on the left, but which goes next to the plate, or whether the wine glasses should stand near or beyond the goblet, You can only guess. It is quite simple, however, to give directions in serving. You just tell the chambermaid that she is to follow the waitress and pass the sauces and vegetables, and you have already explained carefully to the latter that she must not deal plates around the table like a pack of cards, or ever to take them off in piles either. That much, at least, you do know. You also make it a point above everything that the silver must be very clean. Sigrid seems to understand, and with the optimism of youth, you approach the dinner hour without misgiving. The table, set with your wedding silver and glass, looks quite nice. You are a little worried about the silver. It does look rather yellow, but perhaps it is just a shadow. Then you notice there are a great many forks on the table. You ask your husband what is the matter with the forks. He does not see anything wrong. You need them all for dinner you ordered. How can there be less? So you straighten the candlestick that was out of line and put the place cards on. Then you go into the drawing room. You don't light the fire until the last moment because you want it to be burning brightly when your guests arrive. Your drawing room looks a little stiff somehow, but an open fire more than anything else makes a room inviting. That is true. And you light it as your first guest rings the bell. As Mr. Clubwin Doe enters, the room looks charming. Then suddenly the fire smokes, and in the midst of the smoke, your other guests arrive. Everyone begins to cough and blink. They are very polite, but the smoke, growing each moment denser, is not to be overlooked. Mrs. Toplofty takes matters into her own hands and makes Mr. Doe and your husband carry the logs, smoke and all, and throw them into the yard. The room, still thick with smoke, is now cheerlessly fireless, and another factor beginning to distress you is that, although everyone has arrived, there is no sign of dinner. You wait, at first merely eager to get out of the smoke-filled drawing room. Gradually you are becoming nervous. What can have happened? The dining room door might be that of a tomb for all the evidence of life behind it. You become really alarmed. Is dinner never going to be served? Everyone's eyes are red from the smoke, and conversation is getting weaker and weaker. Mrs. Toplofty, evidently despairing, sits down. Mrs. Worldly also sits. Both hold their eyes shut and say nothing. At the Mrs. Toplofty is in despair and sits down. Mrs. Worldly also sits. Both hold their eyes shut and say nothing. At last, the dining room door opens, and Sigrid, instead of bowing slightly and saying in a low tone of voice, "Dinner is served," stands stiff as a block of wood and fairly shouts, "Dinner's all ready." So, can we see the difference and what is going on here? Obviously, they made this ridiculous story about this a new couple that has like a new home, new servants, like new everything, has never really done this before, kind of just thinks everything's gonna be great. And then when the guests arrive, she like lights the fire, but then like the fireplace becomes overwhelmingly smoky, and this whole big disaster happens in the drawing room before dinner even starts. Then people are sitting there waiting for dinner, and that always really sucks too. There must have, I feel like there's been an event, or maybe I just watched like a show. Yeah, I think I was just watching like what is it called, The Apprentice UK, and there were like people just like waiting for the dinner to be served. It just became really anxious and annoying, and everyone was like freaking out, like, okay, it's being ridiculous, where's dinner? That's true, Mr. Repurpose. Awful description. Fireplace at my house never smoked. Those folks did not have a property flu. Yeah, that's true. I don't recall my fireplace ever doing it like that either. Oh, God, my neck. Sounds like an episode of Bob's Burgers. That's funny. I love how this book not only teaches about etiquette, but it also tells a story. I know. Like, they have all these characters and shit. It's so funny. Bungled. Alright, you guys are fun. Shit. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, right. So, can you guys name other differences going on here? So, right at the end, there, when dinner is served, they did it wrong. The cook is supposed to come out and quietly just say that dinner is served, and in a low, and bow slightly. Dinner is served. That's how it's supposed to be, but instead this one stands stiff and then yells, "Dinner's already!" So, difference there. I really like that whole "dinner is served" with a slight bow. I love it. The low-toned voice. You hope no one heard her, but you know very well that nothing escaped anyone of those present. And between the smoke and the delay in your waitress's manners, you are already thoroughly mortified by the time you reach the table, but you hope that at least the dinner will be good. For the first time, you are assailed with doubt on that score. And again, you wait, but the oyster course is all right. And then comes the soup. You don't have to taste it to see that it is wrong. It looks not at all as clear soup should. Its color, instead of being glass clear amber, is greasy looking brown. You taste it fearing the worst, and the worst is realized. It tastes like dishwater and is barely tepid. You look around the table. Mr. Kindheart Lone is trying to eat it. Oh, God. This is making me really anxious. In removing the plates, Delia, the assistant, takes them up by piling one on top of the other, clashing them together as she does so. You can feel Mrs. Worldly looking with almost hypnotized fascination, as her attention might be drawn to a street accident against her will. Then there is a wait. You wait, and looking in front of you, you notice the bare tablecloth without a plate. You know instantly that the service is wrong, but you find yourself puzzled to know how it should have been done. Finally, Sigrid comes in with a whole dozen plates stacked in a pile, which she proceeds to deal around the table. You at least know that to try to interfere would only make matters worse. You hold your own cold fingers on your lap, knowing that you must sit there and that you can do nothing. Damn! Bitch needs better service. You know what I mean? Matias says, dinner is ready. If I was called for dinner like that, I'd be there in a heartbeat. The emotion you are feeling is called Schadenfreude. Thanks, Kevin Splady says, happy birthday. Cast some warrior votes for you today. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thanks. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so you just sit there as, like, dinner is being served horribly, and you're freaking out, and you can't interfere and start, like, talking down to them in front of everybody and fixing things. You just kind of have to, like, deal with it and tell them later, reprimand them later. The fish, which was to have been a mousse with hollandaise sauce, is a huge mound, which too big for the platter, with the narrow gutter of water around the edge and the center dabbed over with a curdled yellow mess. This sounds terrible. You realize that not only is the food itself awful, but that the quality is too great for one dish. You don't know what to do next. You know there is no use in apologizing. There is no way of dropping through the floor or walking yourself up. You have collected the smartest and most critical people around your table to put them to torture, such as they will never forget. Never. You have to bite your lips and keep from crying. Whatever possessed you to ask these people to your horrible house. Mr. Kindheart, sitting next to you, says gently, cheer up, little girl. It doesn't really matter. And then you know to the full how terrible the situation is. The meal is endless. Each course is equally unappetizing to look at and abominably served. You notice that none of your younger guests eat anything. They can't. You leave the table literally sick, but realizing fully that the giving of a dinner is not as easy as you thought. And in the drawing room, which is now fireless and freezing, but at least smokeless, you start to apologize and burst into tears. As you are very young and those present are already fond of you, they tried to be comforting, but you know that it will be years, if ever, before any of them will be willing to risk an evening in your house again. You also know that without malice, but in truth and frankness, they will tell everyone. Whatever you do, don't dine with the newlyweds unless you eat your dinner before you go, and wear black glasses so no sight can offend you. When they have all gone, you drag yourself miserably upstairs, feeling that you never want to look in that drawing room or dinner room again. Your husband, remembering the trenches, tries to tell you it was not so bad, but you know. You lie awake, planning to let the house and to discharge each one of your awful household the next morning. And then you realize that the fault is not a bit more theirs than yours. If you had tried the chimney first and learned its can't say it. If you yourself had known every detail of cooking and service, of course you would not have attempted to give the dinner in the first place. Not in the least through giving little dinners. The technique of your household had become good enough to give a big one. On the other hand, suppose that you have had a very experienced cook and waitress. Dinner would, of course, not have been bungled, but it would have lacked something, somewhere, if you added nothing of your own personality to its perfection. It is almost safe to make the statement that no dinner is ever really well done unless the hostess herself knows every smallest detail thoroughly. I agree with that. Mrs. Worldly pays seemingly no attention, but nothing escapes her. She can walk through a room without appearing to look either to the right or left, yet if the slightest detail is amiss, an ornament out of place, or there is one dull button on the footman's livery, her house telephone is rung at once. Having generalized by drawing two pictures, it is now time to take up the specific details to be considered in giving a dinner. So, yeah. That was dramatic. Oh, we finally have... Ooh, shit. We finally have a super chat. Fuck. I keep moving this thing. We have a super chat. What is MC? One MC? Oh, no, that's your name. Sorry, I was thinking the currency. It's $5 US. That's your name is one MC. Thanks, buddy. It means a lot. Thanks, guys. Let's, what the fuck is going on with Streamlabs? Hold on. Streamlabs. $5. I'm in. We've started. Come on, guys. If you're enjoying this and you want to help me out, you can always help me reach my goal by going to streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV. Thanks. I don't know why this is like so bright. Okay, let's bungle this up a little bit more. Okay. Detailed directions for giving dinner. Okay. The requisites at every dinner, whether a great one of 200 covers or little one of 6, are as follows. Guests, people who are congenial to one another. This is of first importance. Food, a suitable menu, perfectly prepared and dished. I would say another mistake that could have happened at this like hypothetical party is like just like inviting everyone that she knew, like that she could think of, and people not getting on. That's a nightmare. Okay, it's still being really bright. I'm trying to focus this light. Where else are we at? Food. Okay, so we have guests, people who are congenial to one another. This is of first importance. Food, a suitable menu perfectly prepared and dished. Hot food to be hot and cold, cold. Table furnishing, faultlessly laundered linen, brilliantly polished silver, and all other table accessories suitable to the occasion and surroundings. Service, expert dining room servants and enough of them. Drawing room, adequate in size to number of guests and inviting in arrangement. A cordial and hospitable host. A hostess of charm. Charm says everything. Tact, there's that word again. Tact, sympathy, poise, and perfect manners. Always. Back in the city. Back in the city. And though for all dinners these requisites are much the same, the necessity for perfection increases in proportion to the formality of the occasion. I love that sentence. It's very mathematical. I love proportions and things. So anyway, let's read that again. And though for all dinners these requisites are much the same, the necessity for perfection increases in proportion to the formality of the occasion. Damn, that's so true. That's true, though. It's true, it's true, it's true. Is this live? Yes, I am live right now. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? Are we okay? We seem kind of quiet. We seem kind of quiet and chill. All right. Okay. Okay. One of my favorite sections, okay? I'm going to have to read this section twice because I just love that shit so much. But, okay. Taste and selection of people. I love the word taste, too. I need to bring that back. Taste and tact. Tact, taste. The proper selection of guests is the first essential in all entertaining. Excuse me. I can hear like motorcycles outside now. The proper selection of guests is the first essential in all entertaining, and the hostess, who has a talent for assembling the right people, has a great asset. Taste in house furnishings or in clothes or in selecting a cook is as nothing compared to taste in people. Love that. Some people have this sense, others haven't. The first are the great hosts and hostesses. The others are the mediocre or the failures. It is usually a mistake to invite great talkers together. Brilliant men and women who love to talk want hearers, not rivals. Very silent people should be sandwiched between good talkers, or at least voluble talkers. Silly people should never be put anywhere near learned ones, or the dull near the clever, unless the dull one is a young and pretty woman with a talent for listening, and the clever a man with an admiration for beauty and a love for talking. Most people think two brilliant people should be put together. Often they should, but with discretion. If both are voluble or nervous or temperamental, you may create a situation like putting two operatic sopranos in the same part and expecting them to sing together. The endeavor of a hostess when seating her table is to put those together who are likely to be interesting to each other. Professor Boogie might bore you to tears, but Mrs. Entomoid would probably delight in him, just as Mr. Stockson Bonds. Look at, I have to show you how this is written. Mr. Stockson Bonds. So fucking funny, these names. Mr. Stockson Bonds. The dull woman is a nice way of stating bimbo. I was thinking dumb. It's like, that's a nice way of stating like a dumb but like young and pretty girl. Mr. Stocks and Bonds. Okay, so anyway, The endeavor of a hostess when seating her table is to put those together who are likely to be interesting to each other. Professor Bouguet might bore you to tears, but Mrs. Entmoyd would probably delight in him, just as Mr. Stocks and Bonds and Mrs. Rich would probably have interests in common. Making a dinner list is a little like making a Christmas list. You put down what they will, you hope, like, not what you like. Those who are placed between congenial neighbors remember your dinner as delightful, even though both food and service were mediocre. But ask people out of their own groups and seat them next to their pet aversions, and wild horses could not drag them back to your house again. Okay. So yeah. Keep that company right and tight. Professor Bouguet. Hello, Isaac. Welcome. We are doing an etiquette stream. It's etiquette streaming. We are going over formal dinners. That's right. So really fun stuff. If you guys want to help support me, you can always do the super chats or go to streamlabs.com/Martina Markota TV, or you can vote for me in Maxim Magazine competition bullshit thing that I'm doing. Silly, corny thing, but like, whatever. Girls gotta do what I gotta do right now. I'm desperate. And the link is in the description. You can always vote for me every day. Okay? Make it happen every day. Set that alarm, baby. Dr. Taquan. That's right. Isn't he in our like etiquette fantasy scenarios? Okay. How a dinner list is kept. Nearly every hostess keeps a dinner list, apart from her general visiting list, of people with whom she is accustomed to dine or to invite to dinner or other small entertainments. But the prominent hostess, if she has grown daughters and continually gives parties of all sorts and sizes and ages, usually keeps her list in a more complete and ready reference order. Mrs. Gilding, for instance, has... I'll wait for this car to rev by. Okay. Let's see where are we at? But the prominent hostess, if she has grown, I don't know. Mrs. Gilding, for instance, has guest lists separately indexed. Under the general heading dinners, she has older married, younger married, girls, men. Could you imagine this list today? With the different genders and like, it's not even married and single anymore. We got like, it's complicated. We have life partners. We have like all sorts of fucking shit nowadays. Anyway, her luncheon list is taken from her dinner list. Bridge includes especially good players of all ages. Dances, young married people, young girls, and dancing men. Then she has a cross-index list of important persons, meaning those of real distinction who are always the foundation of all good society. Amusing, usually people of talent, invaluable for house parties, and new people, including many varieties of unassorted. Mrs. Gilding exchanges invitations with a number of these because they are interesting or amusing, or because their parties are diverting and dazzling. And Mrs. Gilding herself, being typical of New York's Cavalier element rather than its Puritan strain, personally prefers diversion to edification. Needless to say, Boston's best, being 98% Puritan, has no new list. Besides her list of new people, she has... Her list of new people, she has a short, frivolous list of other cavaliers like herself, and a neutral list, which is the most valuable of all because it comprises those who go with everyone. It's a good list. Besides her own list, she has a pantry list, a list that is actually made out of the benefit of the butler, so that on occasions he can invite guests to fill in. The pantry list comprises only intimate friends who belong on the neutral list and fit in everywhere. Young girls and and young and older single men. Allowing the butler to invite guests at his own discretion is not quite as casual as it sounds. It is very often an unavoidable expedient. For instance, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Mr. Blank telephones that he cannot come to dinner that same evening. Mrs. Gilding is out, so wait until she returns will make it too late to fill the place. Her butler, who has been with her for years, knows quite well, as Mrs. Gilding herself, exactly which people belong in the same group. The dinner cards being already in his possession, he can see not only who is expected for dinner, but the ladies between whom Mr. Blank has been placed, and he thereupon selects someone on the pantry list who is suitable for Mr. Blank's place at the table and telephones the invitation. Perhaps he calls up a dozen before he finds one disengaged. When Mrs. Gilding returns, he says Mr. Blank telephoned he would not be able to come for dinner as he was called to Washington. Mr. Batchelor will be happy to come in his place. Married people are seldom on the list because the butler need not undertake to fill any but an odd place. Oh, that of a gentleman particularly. Otherwise, two ladies would be seated together. Ew. Fuck, it's getting hot in here. Whew. Might need a break. Let some air in here. Okay. Ah, Michael Von Doom. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks. Gave $5. Thanks, man. He says, able to catch you live this time. Still glorious. Thanks. Alright, guys. It's $10. Okay. Okay. Fuck, I'm so hot right now. Shit. Let me just check. Just checking shit. Someone made a comment about this stream. It said, imagine entertaining this for less than a millisecond. This is no fun. This is stupid and archaic. Who would look forward to this dinner? It only breeds anxiety and contempt. Has this person never attended a dinner before? What? Who hates a formal dinner that much? Oh my god. They're off the guest list. The left is being trolled into becoming idiots and they're too proud to admit it and they double down. That's true. That guy must have dinners in front of his PC. I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, talk about archaic. It's archaic to not include formal dinner. Like, I mean, do you want to just, like, be like a caveman, grunting and just, like, grabbing food and, like, sitting on the floor and eating off the floor? That's archaic to me. I think it's refined Western culture, and what separates us from animals is having nice things. Fans you with money, Michael Bonton. Thank you. That would be amazing. But yeah, I can't think of anything that has more of a, like, culture and, like, what Western, what we've built, you know, like, we're different than animals. We're different than other, oh god, now I'm going to sound like bad. People can twist what I'm saying in a bad way. Uncouth ruffians abound. That's right, Michael Von Doom. That's right. Uncouth. I wish we didn't have to eat. I agree with that, although I do love eating. Clearly. You know, clearly. It's not archaic, it's traditional. It's something that's been lost in time and it must be brought back. I'll have the pork loin with lime jello. Ooh, that reminds me, Michael Von Doom. There are some really amazing... Damn it, this is something I left upstate. Should have brought with me. Damn it, damn it. Oh, well, there's always the internet. But I have some actual books, like real books, that I have some vintage recipes, and jello is like a big thing. A lot of really strange recipes. I actually have a book, too, that is... God, where is that? I think that's in storage. But it's a book of, like First Wives cookbook. So it's, like, presidential wives like recipes and cooking, like from Washington to, I don't know, whenever it was published. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a very strange comment. Like, I mean, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me because you know, I can literally post the sky is blue and people would fucking freak out and be like, are you kidding me? You mindless whore. You know, like, they'd be like, how dare you believe in the propaganda that the sky is blue, you whore. It's like, what? It's like, posted an etiquette stream about having a formal dinner and people have something to say. And then you have like some, like, grifter just like spew dumbass bullshit lies, and then they're just like, oh yeah, and they eat it up and they love it. They're like, yeah, you go girl, that's right, yeah, good point. And it's like, alright, I guess I can't even stream about fucking etiquette. Pisses people off. Fuck, like, I can't do anything. What do people want me to do? Do you want me to just, like, go away and die? You want me to just, like, die, right? Because I'm not allowed in the performing community. I'm blacklisted. I'm not allowed. Can't get work, right? And then I move into media. Conservative media is bullshit. All media is bullshit, and they all lie on both sides, and they're all terrible. But anyway, the mainstream media on the left lies about me and made all sorts of articles lying about me to ruin my reputation, and collaborated with the performing girls to slander me. And then the right media doesn't even defend me, and they let the left say all that stuff, and then they're quietly like over me. So, ruined again, second career. And then I have nothing left, so I go to stream, which is the lowest of the low. I can't think of a lower position in my life right now than being an online streamer, like, at 35 tomorrow. And making $10. Yeah. Really did all this for attention and money. Because I was making thousands of dollars a day before, and now I made $10 today. So, people say, stop talking about politics. What are you just doing this for attention? Well, I was a performer on a stage. I had plenty of attention, so didn't need this attention. But okay, don't talk about politics so much. I focus on art. I'm doing the Maxim competition, and it's like, don't vote for her for that competition. She's a thought. Yes, it's literally a thought magazine. The whole magazine is thoughts, okay? I'm in a thought competition. So, I'm a thought. It's a thought competition. That's my lane. It's literally my lane. I do a video on cooking, and then I get told, stop trad LARPing. Why are you LARPing as trad? I'm like, I'm not. I have been a vintage pinup model for over a decade, and I have been cooking since I was a child. I have 5 siblings and a single mom. I'm the one that cook. I'm still the one that cooks when I visit my house. It's like, what are you making us? Make us some goulash, okay? That's what they want from me.
You didn't make $10. You made $25.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Oh yeah, actually made a little bit more. Okay, then we have Michael Von Doom gave $5. I fancy with money, and Mr. Repurpose gave $5. Thank you so much. And then we have Rex Duerte gave 15. He says you didn't make $10, you made 25. Getting there. Getting there. This is my life. Super glamorous. I used to be glamorous. Perform on a stage every day. Crowd cheering my name. Fashion week events. The whole thing. But yes. Now I am streaming to YouTube for 30 people, making $35. Talking about etiquette and still getting shit for it. Somehow it's a problem. Anyway, thanks for letting me vent. I'm thinking maybe reconsidering streaming tomorrow. I haven't streamed in ages and I'm really freaking out and I really need to make money. But like, I'm streaming with Hotep Jesus tomorrow. But I don't know if I'll do a personal stream because I really can't just deal with this stress and like internet bullshit tomorrow. Like I can't deal with it. There's no need to explain yourself. Don't pay attention to those who criticize you. They'll eventually leave you alone. I mean, it's been years. I mean, this one chick who won't stop bothering me, my one stalker, it's approaching 10 years. I think it's about 8 years right now that I have tried to ignore her, and she recently got me blacklisted from an event that was going on in the Hamptons, and she's still stalking me. And then I have all the other burlesque girls from 2016 still bothering me no matter how much I ignore them. So yeah. And then I have all the like right-wing like trad larpers that just continue to bother me despite never acknowledging or talking about things. I don't even talk about politics. I just post about art and won't leave me alone. Don't vote for her, she's a thought. Who like chimes in to make sure people don't vote for someone? I mean, the least you could do is say, hey, vote for this person or ignore the competition. But anyway. That Hotep Jesus stream should have happened a long time ago, but good to see he's having you on. It's going to be good. Yeah, no, I agree. I love Hotep. I think we've had some good interactions back and forth. Good guy. Don't necessarily have to agree with everything he says. Sometimes I'm just like not into a certain point he makes, but I respect him. He's definitely not into the same BML type shit. So, yeah, Michael Von Doom. Thanks so much. You're always so supportive, man. What are you? I always wonder what people that donate to me do. Like, fuck, man. I guess if I was making thousands a day again, I could just be like all about helping people on stream and like being into my certain streamers. But like, fuck. To me, like $5 at a time is like so. Like, I'm really thankful. Michael. Anyway, this is you aren't a thought. You know better. Give them an inch, and they'll have 3 in the genes. I still get death threats from drawings I did 20 years ago, says Monkey Jeebus. Oh my god, what drawing did you do? I should go on Ethan's show again. Yeah, I think I will. I don't know, I'll talk to him, but I've stayed away since all of my personal comic book drama, and I don't want to wrap Ethan into it. So I'm just personally taking care of my shit, and when I feel like I've I've proved that I've fixed this whole ordeal and that he can trust me. I'll kind of bug him about stuff, but I think he wants to wait to see people fulfill before he starts like endorsing and streaming with people again, which is fair enough. Fair enough. Those hot dogs are amazing. I made them when I was talking about my cooking streams. Thank you, John. Yeah, dude. Spicy peanut sauce on a hot dog is so fucking good. So good. Basically, it's Ubers of the world at this point. That's right, Martina. I love the etiquette streams. Fuck all those people. Thanks, John. Oh, you guys are awesome. It's Sandra T. Michael Von Doom about the Paula Deen comment. Oh my god, it's so fucking funny. I want to read that out loud, but then I'll have my haters clip that, and they don't even realize that you're actually black. So, I don't know. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Rex Duerte. Does your husband think is blue? The sky is blue? It's so true. Steven is who? Uncultured swine. That's exactly it. Uncouth, uncultured. You were trolling people didn't have a VPN up. What the fuck is with this VPN? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I had someone's IP address, what does that mean? Like, I can't, like, get their, like, full name and address. Like, how does that even matter to anyone? Series numbers. Anyway, so Dave Incognito's talking about the Maxim contest. He says, the way that I see it, if we get you on the cover or at least to the finals, then it gets you exposure. I've paid for a fair few votes already. I might not be a big-time art patron, but I do something. Thank you so much, Dave Incognito. Dave, you've been on my streams for a long time, and you always donate, and I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate everyone helping me out with the Maxim thing. I mean, literally could not do it without you guys, and it really means a lot to me, because when it is the world versus me, it's really nice to see like all that support that people are giving me, and maybe we can get somewhere. Okay, well, I guess we'll get back to it. I'm so like, all right. Little rant. Sorry about that. So we have, yeah, so I guess the butler has a list so that if there's someone that can't make it, it's usually an odd person, then they can fill that spot up with someone real quick. Asking someone to fill a place. Since no one but a fairly intimate friend is ever asked to fill a place, the invitation is always telephoned. A very young man is asked by the butler if he will dine with Mrs. Gilding that evening, and very likely no explanation is made, but if the person to be invited is a lady or an older gentleman, except on such occasions as noted above, the hostess herself telephones. Can you do me a great favor and fill the place at dinner tonight? The one who receives this invitation is rather bound by the rules of good manners to accept if possible. Bound by the rules of good manners. Oh, shit. Importance of dinner engagements. Dinner invitations must be answered immediately. Engraved or written ones by return post, or those which were telephoned by telephone at once. Also, nothing but serious illness or death or an utterly unavoidable accident can excuse the breaking of a dinner engagement. I kind of love that, because I think when people started breaking that rule and started saying no, they can't go because they just like last minute decided they don't want to, they want to stay home, they want to do something else, like it becomes very difficult to schedule an event and a dinner party or something like that. I mean, could you imagine assembling all of this? Your entire staff, the menus, the list, everyone else is like, you know, not everyone else, but like people are confirming, and then you have like 10 people are making excuses and can't show up. It's not like they're sick or anything. They just, everyone is like kind of doing all, you know, their own thing. And it's like, how the hell do you round everyone up? Well, it's because they were bound by the rules of good manners to accept. It's an utterly unavoidable accident. No, only serious illness or death or an utterly unavoidable accident can excuse the breaking of a dinner engagement. Ew. Hey Blake. Hey Blake, nice to see you in here. Okay. To accept a dinner at Mrs. Nobody's and then break the obligation upon being invited to dine with the worldlies proclaims anyone capable of such rudeness and unmitigated snob, whom Mrs. Worldly would be the first to cut from her visiting list if she knew of it. See? So, you accept a dinner invitation to Mrs. Nobody's, but then you break that invitation because you'd rather go to Mrs. Worldly's event. You're a rude snob. Alright? So, again, with people acting like etiquette is pretentious and bullshit, whatever that tweet just was about, you're wrong again. Because this, I think, has really good elements to it where it's like, that is what people are now used to doing, where it's like, what do they say? Someone did that in my presence where they were supposed to hang out with their friends and then they like ditched on them because they wanted to hang out with me instead. And I remember thinking negatively upon that. And because I didn't want to hang out with him. And he was like trying to make excuses so he could hang out with me instead. And I was just like, his excuse was doing what makes you happy. I'm just going to do what makes me happy, or like, I'm like basically like being very self-righteous about it. And I think that that's wrong, because if you do everything that makes you happy, that pleases you, that benefits you all the time, then you're just a dick, and you're a dick to people around you. And like, who wants to be your friend? You have to be selfless sometimes. And you know what? I'm pretty sure you'll go to the Mrs. Nobody's event and you'll meet some very fine people and have a good time. Like, what's the problem? Oh, wow, Dave Incognito. Thanks so much. Fuck, man. Sometimes I'm just like, don't give Max some money. Give me the money. But at the same time, I do kind of want to get through this competition. I probably won't win. It's all this pay-to-play shit, and there'll be God knows who in later ones. But and then I'll feel terrible because people spent all that money. So I really try to do the whole like free vote, guys. Just vote every day, free vote every day. But it seems like these bitches have been paying for votes because they started popping up, and they don't have names, they don't have Twitters. I don't know who these people are. How are they getting all those votes? Motherfucking bitches are paying for them. So I guess very fine people. That's right. Society needs rules. Words should be bond. That's right. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so yeah, to accept a dinner at Mrs. Nobody's and then break the obligation upon being invited to dine with the worldlies proclaims anyone capable of such rudeness and unmitigated snob, whom Mrs. Worldly would be the first to cut from her visiting list if she knew of it. The rule is, don't accept an invitation if you don't care about it. The rule is, don't accept an invitation if you don't care about it. Having declined the Nobody's invitation in the first place, you are then free to accept Mrs. Worldly's or to stay at home. There are times, however, when engagements between very close friends or members of the family may perhaps be broken, but only if made with the special stipulation, come to dinner with us alone Thursday if nothing better turns up. And the other answer is, I'd love to, and you let me know too if you want to do anything else. Meanwhile, if one of them is invited to something unusually tempting, there is no rudeness in telephoning her friend. Lucy has asked us to hear Golly Curie on Kirky on Thursday. And the others say, go, by all means. We can dine in Tuesday next week if you like, or come Sunday for supper. This privilege of intimacy can, however, be abused. An engagement, even with a member of one's family, ought never to be broken twice within a brief period, or it becomes apparent that the other's presence is more a fill-in of idle time than a longed-for pleasure. Interesting. I know a few people like that. Okay, the menu. Are we ready for the menu, guys? Are you even paying attention to me, or are we just like talking about Maxim shit? Just like chit chat about random shit instead. Fuck. I'm like stressed now. People putting money in for that. This person said, have you ever been to a formal dinner? No. Why would you? It's uncomfortable, boring. The food probably sucks. There is no real conversation besides phony ass licking.
The insidious nature of cancel culture never ceases to amaze. The Bilber proverb replies, don't blow it, keep it simple, count your money. Keep hustling on the comic book. I'm doing the same.
It's true. So someone said, yeah, no, why would you? It's uncomfortable, boring, and the food probably sucks. There is no real conversation besides phony ass licking. No one looks forward to this. I said, if you have never been to one, how do you know that is the case? If there is such a dinner, I would surely decline. This conversation is about a formal dinner that would be good company, enjoyment, and quality food. You just described, what's the word, like, just like his own hypothetical, like, scenario. This person is like full on pissed me off. I'm blocking them. He's totally talking shit about a formal dinner. Like, I can't even assume about a fucking formal dinner. Has this person never been to a wedding? This person's never been to a wedding. Sorry, I'm just like tweeting now. I'm like pissed. Fucking ridiculous. Okay, so we have Spooky. Hey, what's up, Spooky? Gave $10. He said, the insidious nature of cancel culture never ceases to amaze. The Bilber proverb applies. Don't blow it. keep it simple, count your money, keep hustling on the comic book. I'm doing the same. Thanks, Spooky. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, fuck, man. It's just ridiculous. And then I have people trying to, like, my former team trying to, like, fuck up my comic book, like, opportunity that I got. I mean, even this great thing that I did, they fucked it up by not producing, being extremely late, being completely unreliable, blowing my money. So I got rid of them to try it again, you know, to, like, actually make it happen, because at the rate that they were producing the work, it wasn't happening. He kept making excuses that he had to take on this job and that job, but he was milking me out for thousands, yet not working on it. So it's like it wasn't happening, and so I started stressing out because backers are like expecting a book and pages are not coming in, and then the pages that were coming in were not what I wanted. Him and, you know, whoever he was collaborating with to work on the script didn't produce what I wanted, and it was terrible. So I had to start over again, and then they tried destroying the project and ruining my reputation, and really, it's so, like, they fucked that, the only other opportunity that I had up. So, like, I'm fixing it, and I hope to regain the trust of everyone, confiscate again, and just work on my comics. And it's looking really good. I'm excited. I have it on my wall, like, pages printed out. Wish you could see it, but yeah. Anyway. Damn, she types fast. What? You guys can't type that fast? Well, that's weird. Because, like, I was one of the first... I was like one of the first years, generations, or whatever, where computers were integrated in our schooling from, like, kindergarten. So it was like that old Macintosh, not Mac, Macintosh with that, like, apple with the bite out of it, and everything was, like, rainbow colored. It says Macintosh. Big computer screen, black screen with the green dots, the DOS system and everything. We had a typing program, man, since elementary school. I was like one of the first generations to introduce computers at school. So yeah, that's why. Yeah, Spooky says, I'm doing the pencils and inks for a book. We went through 3 different colorists who just fell apart, plus the writers rewrote the script twice. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's been very difficult to nail down solid people. I mean, I went through a few artists because the original artist has really screwed me and really milked me. Very, very, like, sociopathic person that just, like, took advantage of me and fucked up my reputation. But then I got Weldon, and then that didn't work out, and I was stressed. But finally I got Dario, and I'm really happy with it. So sometimes these difficulties are worth it. And then with the colorists, it's the same thing. I think I went through a few colorists. I had Farah at first, who I really like, but then that fell through as well. And now I have this guy, Miko, who I love. So I'm kind of happy that things fell through with Farah, because I think Miko is perfect for this job. He's like a proper artist. He's not just like a comic book colorist. He's like an artist. And when we talk, it just like fits. He knows what I'm talking about. I know what he's talking about. I mean, not everything, because I don't know everything about like printing. So we have these discussions where, like, I'm sorry, I don't know these technical things. This is my first book, but like, how do we do this kind of coloring with this kind of printing? You know, what, like, how are we doing this? And talking to him, working through things out. But aside from that, we like get it. And he has that like Lady Alchemy artsy weirdness to his art, like his coloring. It's so fucking good. Anyway, screwed and milked you. Yep, that's right. Anyway. The claws are bashing that keyboard. I will have little claws, but since I've been up for COVID, I don't have my fake nails anymore, but I'm back. I'm gonna sit on my bed and do my nails now. Yeah, it's funny. Friends don't let friends be back burner bitches. That's so true. John says that he's designing his dinner party right now. See? The food probably sucks. Nonsense. Try any French restaurant in the city where 7 courses smack your taste buds around. Yeah, exactly, Spooky. Like, holy shit. That's why, I mean, it just dumbfounded me, his comment, because I have attended some formal dinners, and let me tell you, I have had some amazing food before. First of all, where I'm from, in the Hudson Valley, New York, is near the CIA, and I'm not talking about the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm talking about the Culinary Institute of America. So when you say CIA up by me, upstate New York, people automatically think culinary. So there's a really big culinary school that people travel the world to go to in like my area. So if you could imagine the restaurant, and when you study culinary, you don't just study how to cook, like fine food. You also are trained in service. So everything that we talk about with the service here, and how to remove the plates properly, not stacking them up, and how, you know, when you see an empty plate to replace it, or you know, where to set everything, how to do everything, how to have service, you know, and have your hand back there, and how to know not to annoy someone, but also have good service so don't disappear. They do all that. They train everything from front of house, back of house, everything. And so they're really good at service. They're very good at food. We have amazing restaurants. We have amazing events, and the food is fantastic. So I don't know. And I've gone to some formal events. I mean, like, I don't know who's asked to kiss. Like, I don't know everyone. Like, I wouldn't know who the important person in the room is. It's just you meet people, you talk, I mean, there's plenty of ass kissing being done on Twitter. There's just as much pretentiousness and ass kissing on Twitter. Anyway. Let me just see. I want to make sure. Like, it sucks to block a friend or a follower, but, like, he just kept going on and on and on about how terrible that is and how it needs to be, like, eradicated. Like, what the fuck? What was my last point? I thought that was a good point, too. Forgot. I was going to put that in there. Anyway. You can invite the FBI. We should invite the FBI to the CIA. Holy shit, that's so funny. Mr. Repurpose says, whether or not to attend a formal dinner party, the only one I ever attended was the first vegan I ever met, and a U.S. senator. So yeah, it was worth attending. My problem is getting people I can actually socialize with for a dinner party. Going back to Emily Post's article, I can't imagine a meal that features fish, then an entree, then a roast to top it off. That's a whole lot of food. The FBI would bring their friends, the NASA. Oh, excuse me. I read it as the NASA. The NSA. That's so funny. Oh my god. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, okay. Think about a formal dinner party. And again, I was thinking about it because I was going through the fine china at my mom's house and taking gold and silver plated dishes, and it's just beautiful, beautiful china sets, hand painted gold, and like punch bowls, like serving trays, like all this stuff. And I just kept thinking about this etiquette book and how fun it would be to host a formal dinner, and what that would entail. And it's like, I could literally, just like this example that we gave, you host a formal dinner and you're inviting your friends. So like, I mean, a formal dinner doesn't mean a bunch of strangers. It can mean like you are putting on the dinners. You're making the invite list. So it can be a variety of people that you enjoy their company, and you hope that they all enjoy their company. The NASA sounds like a pretentious college rock band playing for $4 at the coffee shop on campus. Anyway, fuck, man. So we have... Oh, this is what you guys were... what that person in the chat was talking about. Because we're, I think, getting into the menu. Yeah, so now we're at the menu. It says, it may be due to the war period, which accustomed everyone to going with very little meat and to marked reduction in all food. Or it may be, of course, merely vanity that is causing even grandparents to aspire to svelte figures. Ooh, I gotta look up this new word.
Svelte.
Svelte. A person slender and elegant. I'll take the elegance. I don't know about the slender bit. Svelte. Oh my god, am I seriously only at a second? Fucking another week of this shit. It's probably gonna be months of this shit. Svelte. Anyway, so, where are we at? Okay, so it may be due to the war period, which accustomed everyone to going with very little meat and a marked reduction in all food, or it may be, of course, merely vanity that is causing even grandparents to aspire to svelte figures. But whatever the cause, people are putting much less food on their tables than formerly. The very rich, living in the best houses with the most imposing array of servants, sit down to 3 or at most 4 courses when alone, or when intimate friends who are known to have moderate appetites are dining with them. Under no circumstances would a private dinner, no matter how formal, consist of more than hors d'oeuvres, soup, fish, entree, roast, salad, and dessert. Yeah, I don't know. I've had some amazing... Like, in Iceland, I went to this one restaurant. It was so fucking good with my husband, and I was so hungry. Oh, so hungry. I have an appetite, man. And it was like 7 courses, something crazy. And they kept coming out with, like, these, like, little portions of food. And I remember thinking, oh, fuck. Like, I'm so hungry. Like, scarf one down. I'm like, let's go. Next one. But the food was so good. Like, you put the little thing in your mouth, it was like, holy shit, what is that? And as the courses kept coming out, I mean, I had whale, I had puffin, I was having all these different things, and it was so good. And all the little different courses, and then they had the main entree too. It was like 2 entrees or something. It was all amazing, and I was so full by the end of it. So, like, these courses can really add up. It's so good. Making me ravenous. Yeah, dude, I love food. Like, I love cooking food. I love eating food. I should probably just go be not a chef, because I'd have to go to the CIA for that shit. Too old for that. But I should probably just, like, I don't know, just cook. Make some goulash in the back of a restaurant somewhere. Just like Slav lady. Just cigarette in my mouth. Just making, like, goulash in a giant pot in the back of a, like, restaurant. Putting my, like, alchemy love into my fucking stew. Yeah, more cooking videos. I did film a little bit upstate. I wasn't really in the mood to film myself that much, but I tried. But I got some really good footage with this amazing olive oil, Selo olive, Croatian olive oil. And this Croatian guy sent me some, and it's amazing. And I was trying to think of different stuff to do with it. I made something that I found actually the real name to it. Fuck, where is that name? It's a chicken dish, but it's like chickeny, lemon, like garlicky, like lemony chicken roast thing, and it's so good. And yeah, I have a little footage of doing that. I gotta edit together. It's still sexy, LOL. I'm just gonna be like in the back with like a fucking cigarette and my like hair up, just like making a stew. Slav lady. Fuck, that makes me want to smoke right now. I hope my mom's not watching. Let me see. Let me just check Facebook. It's gonna be my problem. I don't want to like smoke on stream, and it's gonna become a problem. I think my mom's too busy right now to tune in. She's not like she watches them all the time, but she has caught me one time. Clicked on one of my streams I was watching, and I was drinking like a juice in like a wine glass or something, like some seltzer and juice and stuff. And she yelled at me for drinking, and I was like, I wasn't even drinking. Like, I'm pretty sure there was juice in a wine glass. But like, okay, like I'm in my 30s, Mom. Like, I'm allowed to have a fucking drink if I want. She's just a hardcore Slav mom, so it's just like any drugging or drinking is like really bad to her. Brainbolt's laughing at me. Fucking mom yelling at me for having a drink. Wasn't even drinking. I'm gonna roll this with you guys. I'm gonna roll with you guys. Rolling with you. Rolling with my homies. It's a loose tobacco. Rockin' and rollin'. Jay, Rollin' with the Homies is a song from the 90s, okay? I think it's from the 90s, I'm not sure. But it is in Clueless. Rollin' with the Homies. Go watch Clueless, okay, Jay? We say rollin'. We say rockin' and rollin'. Bugle Boy. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. You're talking about the Anderson sisters? Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B. Can't sing. A toot out, a toot comes into the bar. Boogie Rhythm. What? I like their other songs. What are some of them? I like the Anderson sisters. They're good. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B. A toot. Rolling a cigar. Michael Von Doom. Speaking of formal events, I still need to watch those Mexican movies you told me to watch. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Jay. Well, no, right now I'm working on adding a little something to my tobacco. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You need to watch Pootie Tang. Yes, you do. Have you not seen Pootie Tang, Jay? For real? Smoke yarrow instead. What's that? Is that some like Native American shit? Jay, Pootie Tang is a classic. Come on. Pootie Tang. I showed you the trailer? I probably did. It's a good movie. Pootie Tang is hilariously terrible. Exactly. Exactly, Michael Von Doom. Okay, maybe I'll just read. Are you guys like talking? You guys like just talking to me about random shit. Okay, but it should never consist more than those 7. Oh, look at this. 7 dessert. How do I forget after being a server? I know this. What's with dessert or after dessert? Coffee. Yeah, the menu for an informal dinner would leave out the entree and possibly either the hors d'oeuvres or the soup. As a matter of fact, the marked shortening of the menu is in informal dinners and at the home table of the well-to-do. Formal dinners have been as short as the above schedule for 25 years. A dinner interlarded. It says interlarded. Is that a word? Interlarded with a row of extra entrees, Roman punch. See, I'm there, punch. And hot dessert is unknown except at a public dinner. We're in the dining room of a parvenu. About 35 years ago, such dinners are said to have been in fashion. Well, this is much longer than 35 years ago. So wait, what are they saying? A dinner interlarded with a row of entrees, Roman punch, hot dessert is unknown except at a public dinner or in the dining room of a park. What the fuck is that?
Parvenu.
Parvenu. It's a person of obscure origin who has gained wealth, influence, or celebrity. I like that word. We gotta bring that word back into fashion. Here, I'm adding that. I like that. Parvenu. Interlard. To mix, basically. Just the word lard is funny to me. Lard. It's larded. It's retarded. It's relarded. Interlarded. Interretarded. Intretarded. It's retarded. Intretarded. Random shit is best. Interlardas. Yeah, that's kind of how I read it. Yeah. It's like, what? Alright, sorry. Am I boring you guys? I'm just fucking rolling my shit and talking. I think I realized that I'm hungry too. I don't think I've eaten all day. I ordered delivery food the other day. Was it yesterday or some shit? I don't know. The other day when I arrived and it was like really late and it was like not that many things open, but I found like a China spot, like place, China food delivery, and I ordered it. It was like I was falling asleep, but I was like hungry, and it was like 1 a.m. when it was supposed to come, and I was like falling asleep. It finally came. I was super hungry and I was really pumped. And it was not that good. And I spent a ton of money. And I was really pissed because not only was like everything really expensive because it's New York City, then there was like a tack on like delivery fee, which was like $11, $12 or something insane. And then there was like another fee, and then there was like a tax fee, and there was like all sorts of different fees. It ended up being like $20 on top of whatever the like order was. So I spent like a ridiculous amount of money, and I just thought, fuck it. Like, I just got back to the city. It's late. Like, I'm hungry. You know, it's gonna be my birthday. Let me just treat myself, right? And the food was shit, and I was pissed that I spent all that money on delivery food. And I was determined to make use out of it, so I'm just slowly reheating that shit. And slowly feeding myself this shitty Chinese food. Oh, okay, what do you say? Interlarded. Yeah, interlarded is how I read it. Well, that's what it said. It said interlarded. Enderlarded! Oh my god, Ender! I get it. It's funny. This is me making my stew in the back. I'm just like in my glasses with my smokes in a like wife beater, just like making my goddamn goulash in the back of a restaurant. It's my job. It's my new job. Classy, as I talk about etiquette and formal dinners. All right. A little smoke break. Making today special. That's right. Okay. An expensive pen, some coconut oil, and a nice shot glass for cognac. Sounds like fun. The Parvenu Papers is an expose on the modeling and performance art world you should write. That's true. Kind of like that. I'm going to screenshot that. Oh my god, Jay. What, is your fro gonna catch on fire? Is that why I can't light this around you? Alright, people just dipped out because I'm just sitting here like rolling and smoking. But whatever. Fuck it. It's my stream. Ooh. Canapé. I just read that. See, this like goes into my catering world like at the same time because it's like when you cater, you have to like, well, also like as a waitress and stuff like that. The chef tells you, well, you'd know if you like waitress at a like specific restaurant, like you know your menu, but like you have to learn the menu when you start working there. But as a server, like for a high-end catering company, and you like work like different random events. Sometimes it's at like someone's like mansion, personal like private party. Sometimes it's at like Gotham, which is like this venue like weddings and shit. Done like governor balls and stuff, and there's always a flow, there's always a thing in the system of coming out and serving and doing everything properly. There's even a way that you come out like you're like runner, I guess, and you like go out and everyone like puts the plate in front of a person like to their like down, and everyone does it like it's like synchronized swimming, but it's like everyone's putting a plate down on a table like all at the same time around them, and everyone's like receiving it. But yeah, another thing about serving is the chef. You always ask the chef what it is. If you have entrees on your tray, you're not just like mindlessly walking around going, food. Like people always ask, what is this? You know, especially allergies, or not everyone likes everything, you know, they want to know what they're eating. So you have to always be informed and like always ask the chef, what is this on this tray? Okay, got it. And I just remember canapes and stuff like that for the hors d'oeuvres, some really good shit. I don't know, this formal dinner, it was really good food that I worked around. In fact, working those formal events, found some of my like favorite hors d'oeuvres that I like. We used to do this one hors d'oeuvre. It was a bacon wrapped date stuffed with gorgonzola cheese and drizzled with a balsamic glaze, and it is incredible. I used to go around, and they look ugly. They look like little turds. So you go around, and you're like, what is that? And I'm like, it's really good. I'm like, it's really good. It's a bacon wrapped date with gorgonzola cheese and balsamic glaze. It's so good. Just boom, Flavor Town. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh, fuck, what'd I do? The balanced menu. One should always try to choose well-balanced dishes. An especially rich dish balanced by a simple one. Timbale? What's that? Wait. Timbale? Timbe? Let me see. I don't know that one. What the fuck is that? I gotta show you guys this. Oh my god. Let me show you what I'm working with. Where is it? Look at this! What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? I'd eat it. I have no idea what this is. cooking timbale. It's French, so if anyone knows how to say that better than how I'm saying it, can you see it, by the way? Is derived from the word drum, also known as a timbalo. Can refer to either a kind of pan used for baking or the food that is cooked inside such a pan. Timbale pans can be large, such as used to bake a panettone, or they can be small enough to be single portioned, like a tartlet pan. Timbales typically narrow towards the bottom. Bundt pans, angel food cake pans, and springform pans can be substituted for purpose-made timbale bakeware. Okay. As a dish, a timbale is a deep dish filling completely enclosed in a crust. The crust can be sheet pastry, slices of bread, rice, even slices of vegetable. Sartu di riso is a rice crust timbale. Timbalo di milanese uses overlapping strips of eggplant. The filling can be a wide range of pre-cooked meats, sausages, cheese, vegetables, and shaped pastas combined with herbs and spices, and red or white gravy thickened with breadcrumbs if necessary. The assembled dish is then baked to brown the crust and heat the filling to serving temperature. Man, I'm telling you, I gotta get this cookbook from back in the day, because, like, they did have some weird-ass motherfucking foods that we'd probably think is gross, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Timbale can have anything in it. There's no rules, and it's delicious. Oh, so you mean the food isn't terrible? I found this Chicago cookbook from 1896. Found it in a house. LOL. That's awesome, dude. Fuck, you gotta share me what's in there. It's in all right condition. That's good. That's quality of a good book. It's awesome. You gotta send me some like wild recipes. You gotta flip it open, check it out, DM me something interesting. Cause like, dude, 1800s probably something really cool. Weird. Okay, where are we? There was a recipe that I wanted to do too on stream, and it was like some 50s shit, and it was like a Coca-Cola like jello or something, and it had like cream cheese in it, and you like heated it all up and made this like jello with like it was Coca-Cola salad. I gotta show you guys this. It's Coca-Cola salad. But it has like jello and shit. They loved jello in the 50s. Sorry, trying to find this. Got it. Okay, so let's do Coca-Cola salad recipe. Oh, yeah, with the cream cheese. This is it. Coca-Cola salad, 1 package orange jello, 1 small package cream cheese, 1 large Coca-Cola 10 ounce, and half a cup of nuts. I don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I love food, but fuck. It's kind of weird. Why can't you super chat with PayPal? I don't know. Okay, so we have this balanced menu. Always pair something that is like strong with something plain. Timbale with a very rich sauce of cream and pate foie gras might perhaps be followed by French chops, broiled chicken, or some other light plain meat. An entree of about 4 broiled mushrooms on a small round toast should be followed by boned capon or saddle of mutton or spring lamb. It is equally bad to give your guest very particular food unless as an extra dish. Some people love highly flavored Spanish or Indian dishes, but they are not appropriate for a formal dinner. At an informal dinner, an Indian curry or Spanish enchilada for one dish is delicious for those who like it, and if you have another substantial dish, such as a plain roast which practically everyone is able to eat, those who don't like Indian food can make their dinner of another course. So isn't that funny that a roast was like the other dinner that pretty much everyone can eat, but nowadays people would be picky about the roast because it's like, do you have a vegetarian entree option or something? It is the same way with the Italian dishes. One hating garlic and onions would be very wretched if onions were put on each and every course and liberally. With Indian curry, a fatally bad selection would be a very peppery soup, such as a croûte au pot filled with pepper, and fish with green peppers, and then curry, and then something casserole filled again with peppers and onions and other throat-searing ingredients. Sounds good to me. Finishing with an endive salad. Yet more than one hostess has done exactly this, or equally bad is a dinner of flavorless white sauces from beginning to end. A creamed soup, boiled fish with white sauce, then vol au vent of creamed sweetbreads, followed by breast of chicken and mashed potatoes and cauliflower, palm root salad, vanilla ice cream, and lady cake. Each thing is good in itself, but dreadful in the monotony of its combination. Another thing, although a dinner should not be long, neither should it consist of samples, especially if set before men who are hungry. Or women. The following menu might seem at first glance a good dinner, but it is one from which the average man would go home and forage ravenously in the icebox. A canapé, good but merely an appetizer. Clear soup, a dinner party helping and no substance. Smelts, 1 apiece. Individual croutards. I see tard. Croutards of sweetbread. There's a tard in there. Croutards of sweetbread, holding about a dessert spoonful. Broiled squab, small potato croquette, and string beans. Lettuce salad with about 1 small cracker piece and ice cream. The only thing that had any sustaining quality, barring the potato, which is not more than a mouthful, was the last, and very few men cared to make their dinner of ice cream. If instead of squab there had been fillet of beef cut in generous slices, and the potato croquettes had been more numerous, it would have been adequate. Or if there had been a thick cream soup and a fish with more substance, such as salmon or shad or baked thick fish, of which he could have had a generous helping, the squab would have been adequate also. But many women order trimmings rather than food. Men usually like food. Men usually like food. Okay. Men usually like food. Well, the no reference exception. If you'd like, you can get your wife on into my streams. I don't know if she'll be into it, but you know, we're generally pretty chill here. I don't generally show cleavage or anything. I don't know if I am today. I'm wearing like a sports bra right now. I'm just like fucking hot. But yeah, this is female-friendly content, so you could always get her in here and get her know who I am, and that'll be fine. You did it. All this food talk has me in the kitchen seeking non-substantive food. Men like food. This is true. I love it, Emily Post. Thank you for that. Holy shit. I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours. So, I don't know. I might give up now. How are you guys doing? I might chat with you guys a little bit. Damn. Alright, yeah. Cool. Just keep going. I'm just so hot. I want to like open a window and get the air flowing. But there's like a lot of noise outside. Oh, I have the olive oil right here. Yes, I have olive oil in my bedroom because I don't want anyone to use it. But this is the Cello olive. See, it has that Croatian check mark, Croatian flag on there. But yeah. I'm dying for a steak and a cigar and a bath. That sounds good. Ain't nothing else going on, dude. I don't know, just keep going. All right. Sounds good. You making a salad or something? Ending at men like food is a pretty solid finish for the night. That's funny. Steve Incognito, minus you didn't pull in a lot of donations, plus you're on top and kicking bottom in your Maxim competition. Yeah, I'm just like, fuck man, we got another week. I'm thinking these other girls might start buying votes and shit. I just want to grill. I left for a while. Did you talk about the Oklahoma BS? What's going on in Oklahoma? What's going on in Oklahoma, guys? I think you do need to create an account with Streamlabs, but let me check Streamlabs. I think you can do PayPal and stuff. Yeah. Sure. Oh my god, I'm like dying. Maybe Rainbow or someone that has used PayPal. You can use a card. I think you can use PayPal. I think so. I mean, I really appreciate it. I don't want to cause problems in your relationship. It's not worth it. But I really do appreciate it. I could use the support. And your wife can always tune in, get to know me. I'm married. I gotta open a window. I'm baked. I'm sweating my ass off. Oh, God. Alright. I don't know what else to talk about, so let's go back into this. What is this? Men usually like food. Ow! I just smashed my finger. Ow! Fuck. Okay. The dinner table of yesterday. Is that too loud now out there? I'm like dying. Her finger. I'm sweating. I got city noise. No donations. No, $50 in donations or something. All of us old enough to remember the beginning of this century. Yeah, no. I don't think so, Emily Post. Absolutely dying. I'm gonna eat a carrot. Sorry about the noise. What did you screen cap, Rainbow? Were you the one mentioning the Supreme Court thing earlier in the stream? What's going on? I've been staying away from politics. I don't care. That carrot really helped. Oh no, hiccuping. Oh, you're screen capping my finger smash. Shit. Alright. Black Eagle said, dude, I've been telling people to eat carrots and fruit because it's summer. Oh shit, I also have some blueberries. Should eat that. Is this a mukbang? I would love that job. If anyone knows how I can apply to do that, let me know. Cause like, I'll eat for money. I also have broccoli because they have a lot of fiber. I'm trying to get in shape. Very etiquette of me right now. Did I miss the etiquette content? Asked David Norris. Yeah. I've been on for 2.5 hours and we went through some dinner stuff. Okay, Spooky said, sorry, I'm like chewing, I'm talking. Supreme Court declared a third of Oklahoma to be given back to Native Americans. Oh my God. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. We're gonna end up pussifying ourselves so much that we just like it cease to exist as a country. You missed the art streams. We'll do that tomorrow. Oh, I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow. But I haven't streamed in ages and I need to make money. I don't know if I want to like stream or not yet, but yeah, we're getting back to art stream. People want cooking videos. It's all happening. Martina with the mukbang grifting. Yep, that's happening. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'll wrap it up, but I'll stick around and just chit chat for a few minutes and see if anyone wants to send some Streamlabs or super chats. Now's your time. Any questions, concerns? Now's your time. Thank you, Joe. And that air feels so good. I'm way less like sweaty and freaking out now. Whew, that air feels good. Alright. Forgot what I was gonna say. Black Eagle, who are you talking to? I don't see Streamlabs like adding you or anything. Michael, thanks, because I can. Alright, well, let me see what the dinner table of yesterday. All of us old enough to remember the beginning of this century, probably none of us, can bring to mind the typical and most fashionable dinner table of that time. Occasionally it was oblong or rectangular, but its favorite shape was round, and a thick white damask cloth hung to the floor on all sides. Often as not, there was a large lace centerpiece, and in the middle of it was a floral mound of roses. I like roses, like a funeral piece, exactly, usually red. The four competiers were much scrolled and embossed. I have a feeling they're talking about like a dish. They're talking about a dish here. And the four candlesticks, also scrolled, but not to match, had shades. of perforated silver over red silk linings, like those in restaurants today. And there was a gas drop light thickly petticoated with fingered red silk. The plates were always heavily jeweled and hand painted, and enough forks and knives and spoons were arrayed at each place for a dozen courses. The glasses numbered at least 6, and the entire table was laden with little dishes and spoons. There were olives, radishes, celery, and salted nuts in glass dishes, and about 10 kinds of sugar plums, and 10 different styles of ornate, bumpy silver dishes, and whatever small space of tablecloth showed through, it was filled with either a big apostle spoon or little Dutch ones crisscrossed. Bread was always rolled in the napkin and usually fell on the floor, and the oysters were occasionally found already placed on the table when the guests came into dinner. Loading a table to the utmost of its capacity with useless implements, which only in the rarest instances had the least value, would seem to prove that quantity without quality must have been thought evidence of elegance and generous hospitality. And the astounding part of the bad taste epidemic was that few, if any, escaped. Even those who had inherited colonial silver and glass china of consummate beauty sent it dust gathering to the attic and cluttered their tables with stuffy and spurious lumber. But today, the classic has come into its own again, as though recovering from an illness. I like that. But today, the classic has come into its own again, as though recovering from an illness. Good taste is again demanding severe beauty of form and line, and banishing everything that is useless and superfluous. During the last 20 years, most of us have sent an army of lumpy dishes to the melting pot and junky ornaments to the ash heap, along with plush table covers, upholstered mantel boards, and fern dishes. Today, we are going almost to the extreme of bareness and putting nothing on our tables not actually needed for use. I like that. But today, I want to quote that. But today, the classic has come into its own again, as though recovering from an illness. Good taste is again demanding severe beauty of form and line, and banishing everything that is useless or superfluous. I like that. Quoting that. Car etiquette stream up next. Oh. More joggers. Must be on their way to Madison Square Garden, says Jay. Vin Diesel outside trying to seem masculine. How come Streamlabs was responding to you, Black Eagle, but I couldn't see it? Do I have Streamlabs, blocked for me or something? Dave Norris gave $2. He says, quality over quantity never goes out of style. I love that. Yep. Okay. The dining room. I feel like I should have stopped at the food. Men usually like food, because now it's all this dinner table dining shit, and that should be for next stream. But yeah, men usually like food. What the fuck, null reference? Damn it. I don't know. You could always send a super chat and just like put a comment and say like, you know, something about etiquette, dinner table, or like good food, or like fine dining. What is it called? Like formal dinner or something. You like food. All right. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll wait. What do we have next time? Yeah, we have the dinner table of yesterday, which we just went over. The dining room, a pleasing dining room at limited cost. Setting the table, setting the places, have silver that shines or none. Don'ts in table setting, correct service of dinner, the dinner hour, the butler in the dining room, the ever-present plate, double service and the order of table precedence, filling glasses, presenting dishes, the serving table, clearing the table for dessert, place cards, menu cards, seating the table, who is the guest of honor, the envelopes for the gentleman, the table diagram, when the hostess sits at the side, sidewalk hall and dressing rooms, announcing guests, announcing persons of rank, a hostess receives at a formal dinner, how a hostess receives at a formal dinner, the duty of the host when dinner is announced, the manners of a hostess, the late guest, the etiquette of gloves and napkin, the turning of the table, enemies must bury hatchets, manners at the table, attacking a complicated dish, leaving the table when the gentleman returns to the drawing room, music or other entertainment after dinner, very big dinners, taking leave, the little dinner, carving on the table, the stag or bachelor dinner. So that's what we have to look forward to next time we do etiquette. And we have Michael Van Doom gave $3. Thank you. Frick you all. That gift, yeah, that was. Bukaki Effusion says farting at the table is cause for a duel. Post dessert, that is. It's funny. Alright, I don't know. Let me know what else you guys thinking. Don't fart in the pudding. Okay, Jay. But today the classic has come into its own again, as though recovering from an illness. Good taste is again demanding severe beauty and of form and line, banishing everything that is useless or superfluous. I can't believe someone had a problem with a formal dinner. Dude has never gone to like a formal wedding? Or like a charity? You never gone to like a charity gala or something? Anyway. Yeah, the whole concept of it breeding attention and contempt is very leftist. I mean, I know leftists that are hardcore against etiquette because they think it's pretentious and shitty and should be abandoned. But as we've discussed many of times on the etiquette stream, especially in the beginning, if you guys remember the beginning chapter, which I absolutely love, I might just reference and go back to it now, but it really talks about pretentiousness being very anti-etiquette, and etiquette is about respect for others. So this whole concept of etiquette being this like snobbish thing is very leftist, and it's strange to see right-wingers take that stance on this too. But are you going to talk politics anymore? I mean, not generally, but like I mean, it's a lot of my fans are politically inclined, and I mean, we can always chat about it if you have any questions or comments about it. And, you know, yeah, I like mention things, but I don't particularly talk about politics as like a whole stream. Etiquette for me is more about rituals, which is more of a myth-related thing than anything else. Etiquette is class, and class is sexy. Thanks. Yeah. Do you dress up when you fly? When I fly, like in an airplane, when I'm traveling? Sometimes. I generally like to, I generally go on like long flights, like if I'm going to like UK and back. I want to be comfy because it's a long flight and I get swollen feet. But there have been times where when I was living in the UK and we were traveling to other places in Europe, France or whatever, and I would look cute. Yeah, I would dress up. Black Eagle says that I want a beautiful wedding and like in a cathedral, but what about a reception? Yeah, in some of the other etiquette streams, they've talked about that as well. Possibly in the invitation section, because weddings are a really big deal, but like they definitely mentioned not having those like really obnoxious invitations that are like over the top, which is what people tend to do now, and that's actually like really bad taste. But yeah, they talk about stuff being at a church and reception. I'm sure it'll come up again in later chapters. Let's go and visit like the beginning of this book, shall we? Oh god. Do I really have to go like this? Where's just like the fucking... Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Let's go to the beginning for a second, guys. Yeah, so like in this book, there's the introduction, which is really good. There's What is Best Society, which is very good. I may just reread it now. And the introduction is very, like, it's really good. They make some really great points, but there's introductions, so I had to introduce people. These are all old streams you can go back and look into if you're interested in checking them out and you want to just play shit in the background. Oftentimes I'm doing stuff in my room and I want something playing in the background and I can't figure out what's like a long enough YouTube video. A lot of YouTube videos are like 5 minutes long. I think that's the sweet spot for a lot of videos, but I often look for some really long videos so that I don't have to constantly be looking for something new and just sitting there browsing, get working on my shit. So go ahead and play some of the streams in the background, some of the old streams, and you know, it's fun, it's interesting, we have laughs, we learn new things. I think you'll find them interesting. But the introductions were about, like, let's say like I introduce, I was thinking Jay. I was like, how do I introduce Jay? It'd be like, let me see, two of you. It wouldn't really work with you guys. Let's say if I was introducing like Jay to my mother, I would say like, Mom, this is Jay. He is my friend from the internet. And Jay, this is my mother, Mladenka. Oop, shit. I doxed my So what you do is like introduce back and forth, and you always introduce to the more important person. Like you introduce someone to the important person. I think that's how it works, right? I don't know. We got to go back, but you always also address how you know them. So it's like, this is my roommate so and so, or this is I went to college with someone I went to college with. Like you explain like your relationship to them, so that instantly makes them like understand what their relationship to you is and how to talk to them. And oh my god. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Do you want to collab with anyone? Have you considered collabing with Tim Pool? I've actually talked to Tim Pool. He's mentioned me on Joe Rogan about the Chase Bank situation. I've DM'd with him before. He's referenced me a few times, and it's really appreciated. He definitely sometimes sees the bullshit that's going on, and will mention will mention me, and so I appreciate him. I haven't asked him to collab. I don't know if he does things like that, but I don't know. We'll see. Per dumbass Reddit threads, Black Lives Matter protests are set to attack Mason lodges throughout the U.S. Why? What do they have against Masonic lodges? Ooh, yes, Eduardo. Eduardo said that he'd love to see that with collab with like Tim Pool or something. He says, or Martina and Jonathan Paggio. That I would enjoy. Yes, that's a collab I'm interested in with Jonathan Paggio. Yes. The Metacog stream was one of the best old streams. That's right, Rainbolt. I might edit that one up so it's a little bit easier without all my like tech issues and and whatever. Jay. This is Jay. He's black. I may have said that to my mom already. Peak content in Metacog streams. Masonic lodges equals butt piracy. What? I thought it was pronounced like that, Eduardo. I'm pretty sure I've heard him say his name like that. Looking forward to the chaperone and other conventions and balls and dances, says Spooky. Jay is quoting an old stream, the Metacog stream, which they are recommending. He says, this issue of Metacog magazine is dedicated to Aunt Patty and Uncle Michael. Who the fuck is that? Yeah, it's really good. It like genuinely, if you just don't know what to just put on, like you don't care, just plop something on YouTube that's gonna be on for like a few hours. I would recommend that because then you'll get caught up into some like lore that like we have in our group. It's pretty entertaining if you want to get into some stuff. But yeah, Jack's cackling laughter in the background. Next, they're going after the hair club for men. They want the butts. Yeah, I could expand my audience if I get on other streams for sure. Yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, I would love that. I mean, I'm going on Hotep Jesus tomorrow, so look out for that if you know who he is. But let me write that down. I'm gonna put collab, and I'm just gonna put Tim Pool, and then Jonathan Paggio. And anyone else that you guys recommend, that would be great. Who the fuck is Tasha? Uncle Ben had a three-way with Aunt Jemima and Mrs. Butterworth. Dirty old man. That's right. Okay, yeah, so let's check out this, what the Emily Post book is. Like I said, it's published in 1922. Emily Post is the leading author on American etiquette. And yeah, these introductions and stuff are really, really good. And there's the greetings, which I explained. Salutations of courtesy on the street and in public. These are all old streams. You can go check them out. At public gatherings, conversation, words, phrases, and pronunciation, one's position in the community, cards and visits, invitations, acceptances, and regrets, the well-appointed house, teas and other afternoon parties, and we are currently working on chapter 14, which is formal dinners, and we did not complete it today. But yeah, after that we have dinner giving with limited equipment, luncheons, breakfasts, and suppers, balls and dances. That does sound really fun. The debutantes, yay. The chaperone and other conventions, engagements, first preparations before a wedding. Hey, here's the wedding stuff. I think someone asked before something about wedding things. The day of the wedding, christenings, funerals, the country house and its hospitality. Ooh, I can't wait for that one. I love the country house. The house party in camp, notes and shorter letters. Aww. Longer letters. The fundamentals of good behavior. It's fundamental. Clubs and club etiquette. I'm pretty sure they're talking about like a proper club, like a exclusive club. Games and sports. Etiquette in business and politics. Ooh, that should be interesting too. Dress. The clothes of a gentleman. That is some good shit too. The kindergarten of etiquette. Everyday manners at home. Traveling at home and abroad. The growth of good taste in America. Damn. Like, that's so exciting and fun, but somehow people find a way to hate on it. I don't know. I love this introduction. I'm probably just going to read it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Aw, thanks, the null reference exception. Yeah. Oh, I need to sort the playlist out. That's true, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I do have playlists, but you're right. I think I need to add a few to the playlist. But let me just, like, read this real quick, and then we'll get out of here, because it's, like, 3 hours, and it's not like I'm getting any new donations, so just take a puff. But yeah, I love this intro. I think I filmed it. I don't know if I've published it, but like I could do just like one solid like rebel style video of this intro. This is like, I should have had this as my response to that guy, because it starts with sorry, I saw a message. Many who scoff at a book of etiquette would be shocked to hear the least expression of levity touching the 10 Commandments. So, I mean, that first sentence is like exactly what I was dealing with on Twitter about etiquette. Those who scoff at etiquette. But the commandments do not always prevent such virtuous scoffers from dealings with their neighbor, of which no gentleman could be capable and retain his calm to the title, though it may require an ingenuity to reconcile their actions and the decalogue. The ingenuity is often forthcoming. There is no intention in this remark to imitate that there is any higher rule of life than the 10 Commandments. Only it is illuminating as showing the relationship between manners and morals, which is too often overlooked. The polished gentleman of sentimental fiction has so long served as the type of smooth and conscienceless depravity that urbanity of demeanor inspires distrust in ruder minds. On the other hand, the blunt, unpolished hero of melodrama and romantic fiction has lifted brusqueness and pushfulness to a pedestal not wholly merited. Consequently, the kinship between conduct that keeps us within the law and conduct that makes civilized life worthy to be called such deserves to be noted with emphasis. The Chinese sage Confucius, who could not tolerate the suggestion that virtue is in itself enough without politeness, for he viewed them as inseparable and saw courtesies as coming from the heart, maintaining that when they are practiced with all the heart, a moral elevation ensues. Like, this is what etiquette is about. It's not what that person was tweeting and what leftists think. It is about courteousness coming and practiced from within. And that takes some sort of moral elevation, like a higher consciousness to separate yourself and your needs and be courteous to others around you. People who ridicule etiquette as a mass of trivial and arbitrary conventions, extremely troublesome to those who practice them and insupportable to everyone else, seem to forget the long, slow progress of social intercourse in the upward climb of man from the primeval state. Conventions were established from the first to regulate the rights of the individual and the tribe. They were and are the rules of the game of life and must be followed if we would play the game. Ages before man felt the need of indigestion remedies, he ate his food solitary and furtive in some corner, hoping he would not be espied by any stronger and hungrier fellow. It was a long, long time before the habit of eating in common was acquired, and it is obvious that the practice could not have been taken up with safety until the individual of the race knew enough about one another and about the food resources to be sure that there was food sufficient for all. When eating in common became in vogue, table manners made their appearance, and they have been waging an uphill struggle ever since. The custom of raising the hat when meeting an acquaintance derives from the old rule that friendly knights, in accosting each other, should raise the visor for mutual recognition in anonymity. In the knightly years, it must be remembered, it was important to know whether one was meeting a friend or a foe. Meeting a foe meant fighting on the spot. Thus, it is evident that the conventions of courtesy not only tend to make the wheels of life run more smoothly, but also act as a safeguard in human relationship. Imagine the Paris Peace Conference or any of the later conferences in Europe without the protective armor of diplomatic etiquette. Nevertheless, to some, the very word etiquette is an irritant, like it was on Twitter today for me. It implies a great pother about trifles. These conscientious objectors assure us, and trifles are unimportant. Trifles are unimportant, it is true, but then life is made up of trifles. Trifle is like a small thing. It's like a trifle. Yes, it is also a dessert, but it's like a little small thing. It's like something small. To those who dislike the word, do it on Twitter. It suggests all that is finical and superfluous. It means a garish embroidery on the big scheme of life, a cog in the forward march of a strong and courageous nation. To such as these, the word etiquette and politeness connote weakness. Weakness and timidity. Their notion of a really polite man is a dancing master or a milliner. Man milliner? The fuck's a milliner? They were always willing to admit that the French were the politest nation in Europe and equally ready to assert that the French were the weakest and least valorous until the war opened their eyes in amazement. Yet, that manners and fighting can go hand in hand appears in the following anecdote. In the midst of the war, some French soldiers, they talk about the war, and this was before World War II. This was published in 1922, so they're talking about World War I here when they say the war. In the midst of the war, some French soldiers and some non-French of Allied forces were receiving their rations in a village back of the lines. The non-French fighters belonged to an army that supplied rations plentifully. They grabbed their allotment and stood about while hastily eating, uninterrupted by conversation or other concern. The French soldiers took their very meager portions of food, improvised a kind of table on the top of a flat rock, and having laid out the rations, including the small quantity of wine that formed part of the repast, sat down in comfort and began their meal amid a chatter of talk. One of the non-French soldiers, all of whom had finished their large supply of food before the French had begun eating, asked sardonically, "Why do you fellas make such a lot of fuss over the little bit of grub they give you to eat?" The Frenchman replied, "Well, we are making war for civilization, are we not? Very well, we are. Therefore, we eat in a civilized way." That is why we care about etiquette, because we are a civilized people and nation. Okay? What the fuck? How come these bitches keep beating me? Anyway. Damn. I don't know how these bitches have this money. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, but like, what simps? Like, who are they? Like, they don't. Like, who are they? Why? Like, what simps do they have? How? I mean. Okay, where are we? To the French, we owe the word etiquette, and it is amusing to discover its origin in the commonplace familiar warning, "Keep off the grass." It happened in the reign of Louis XIV, when the gardens of Versailles were being laid out, and the master gardener, an old Scotsman, was sorely tired because his newly seeded lawns were being continually trampled upon. To keep trespassers off, he put up warning signs, or tickets, etiquettes, on which was indicated the path along which to pass. But the courtiers paid no attention to these directions, and so the determined Scot complained to the king in such a convincing manner that His Majesty issued an edict commanding everyone at court to keep within the etiquettes. Gradually, the term came to cover all the rules for correct demeanor and deportment in court circles, and thus through the centuries it has grown into use to describe the conventions sanctioned for the purpose of smoothing personal contacts and developing tact and good manners in social intercourse. With the decline of feudal courts and the rise of empires of industry, much of the ceremony of life discarded for plain and less formal dealings. Trousers and coats supplanted doublés and hose, and the change in costume was not more extreme than the change in social ideas. The court ceased to be the arbiter of manners, though the aristocracy of the land remained the high exemplar of good breeding. Yet, so courtly and materialistic a mind as Lord Chesterfield's acknowledged a connection between manners and morality, of which latter the courts of Europe seem so sparing. In one of the famous letters to his son, which is really interesting, we should check that out, he writes, "Moral virtues are the foundation of society in general, and of friendship in particular. But attentions, manners, and graces both adorn and strengthen them." Again, he says, "Great merit or great failings will make you respected or despised, but trifles, little attentions, mere nothings, either done or reflected, will make you either liked or disliked in the general run of the world." For all the wisdom and brilliancy of his worldly knowledge, perhaps no other writer has done so much to bring disrepute on the manners and graces as Lord Chesterfield, and this, it is charged, because he debased them so heavily by considering them merely as the machinery of a successful career. To the moralist, the fact that the moral standards of society in Lord Chesterfield's day were very different from those of the present era rather adds to the odium that has become associated with this attitude. His severest critics, however, do concede that he is candid and outspoken, and many admit that his social strategy is widely practiced even in these days. But the aims of the world in which he moved were routed by the onrush of the ideals of democratic equality, fraternity, and liberty. With the prosperity of newer shibboleths, the old-time notion of aristocracy, gentility, and high breeding, I love that word, high breeding, became more and more a curio to be framed suitably in gold and kept in a glass case of an art museum. The crashing advance of the industrial age of gold thrust all courts and their sinuous graces aside for unmistakable ledger balance of the counting house. This new order of things had been a long time in process when, in the first year of this century, distinguished English social historian, the late Right Honorable G.W.E. Russell, wrote, "Probably in all the ages men have liked money. But 100 years ago they did not talk about it in society. Birth, breeding, rank, accomplishments, eminence in literature, eminence in art, eminence in public service. All of these things still count for something in society, but when combined they are only the dust of the balance when weighed against the all-prevailing power of money. The worship of the golden calf is the characteristic cult of modern society. In the Elizabethan age of mighty glory, 300 years before this was said, Ben Jonson had railed against money as a thin membrane of honor, groaning, "How hath all true reputation fallen since money began to have any?" Now, the very fact that the debasing effect of money on been so constantly reprehended from scriptural days onward proves the instinctive yearning of mankind for a system of life regulated by good taste, high intelligence, and sound affections. But it remains true that in the succession of great commercial epochs, coincident with the progress of modern science and invention, almost everything can be bought and sold, and so almost everything is rated by the standard of money. Yet this standard is precisely not the ultimate test of Christianity on which we have been plumbing ourselves through the centuries. Still, no one can get along without money. A few of us get along very well with what we have. At least we think so, because everybody else seems to think that way. We Americans are members of the nation which, materially, is the richest, most prosperous, and most promising in the world. This idea is dinned into our heads continually by foreign observers, and publicly we own the soft impeachment. Privately, each individual American seems driven with the distinction that he must live up to the general conception of the nation as a whole. And he does, but in less strenuous moments, he might profitably ponder the counsel of Gladstone to his countrymen. Let us respect the ancient manners and recollect that if the true soul of chivalry has died among us, with it all that is good in society has died. Let us cherish a sober mind, take for granted that in our best performances there are latent many errors which in their own time will come to light. America, too, has her ancient manners and to remember and respect. But in the rapid assimilation of new peoples into her economic and social organism, more pressing concerns take up nearly all her time. The perfection of manners by intensive cultivation of good taste, some believe would be the greatest aid possible to the moralists who are alarmed over the decadence of the younger generation. Good taste may not make men or women really virtuous, but it will often save them from what theologians call occasions of sin. We may note, too, that grossness in manners forms a large proportion of the offenses that fanatical reformers foam about. Besides grossness, there is also the meaner selfishness. Exactly. Selfishness is the polar remove from the worldly manners of the old school, according to which, as Dr. Pusey wrote, others were preferred to self, pain was given to no one was neglected, difference was shown to the weak and the aged, and unconscious courtesy extended to all inferiors. Such was the beauty of the old manners, which he felt consistent in acting upon Christian principles, and if any case it became soulless as apart from Christianity, the beautiful form was there to which real life might re-enter. Let me just check in on you guys. Bye! Thank you so much, Thanol. Oh my god. You guys aren't even talking about what I've been reading. I'm loving all this. Yeah, Jay says Martina supposedly has a dedicated army of simps and orbiters, but I can't find them. These slatterns. I need more simps, says Eduardo. I'm still listening. Okay, thanks. Good. We're listening. I'm spellbound. Okay, I'll continue. Okay. As a study of all that is admirable in American manners and as a guide to behavior in the simplest as well as the most complex requirement of life day by day, whether we are at home or away from it, there can be no happier choice than the present volume. It is conceived in the belief that etiquette, in its broader sense, means the technique of human conduct under all circumstances in life. Yet all minutiae of correct manners are included, and no detail is too small to be explained. From the selection of a visiting card to the mystery of eating corn on the cob, manners of clothes for men and women are treated with the same fullness of information and accuracy of taste as are questions of the furnishings of their houses and the training of their minds to social intercourse. But there is no exaggeration of the minor details at the expense of the more important spirit of personal conduct and attitude of mind. To dwell on formal trivialities, the author holds, is like measuring the letters of the signboard by the roadside instead of profiting by the directions they offer. She would have us know also that it is not the people who make small technical mistakes or even blunders who are barred from the paths of good society, but those of sham and pretense whose veneered vulgarity at the very step tramples the flowers in the gardens of cultivation. Oh, the gardens of cultivation! To her mind, the structure of etiquette is comparable to that of a house, of which the foundation is ethics and the rest is good taste. Love that. Oh, excuse me, it doesn't end there. So, to the author, this is someone Duffy. Richard Duffy wrote this. So, when he's talking about the author and he is talking about Emily Post. But yeah, anyway, so to her mind, the structure of etiquette is comparable to that of a house, of which the foundation is ethics and the rest is good taste, correct speech, quiet, unassuming behavior, and proper pride of dignity. That's totally against everything that guy was saying in that tweet. This is my issue, and this is why I do the etiquette streams. Like, people have it all wrong. To such as entertain the mistaken notion that politeness implies all give and little or no return, is well to recall Coleridge's definition of a gentleman. We feel the gentlemanly character present within us, he said, whenever, under all circumstances of social intercourse, the trivial, not less than the important, through the whole detail of his manners and deportment, and with the ease of Whenever, under all circumstances of social intercourse, the trivial, not less than the important, though the whole detail of his manners and deportment, and with ease of habit, a person shows respect to others in such a way as the same time implies in his own feelings and habitually an assured anticipation of reciprocal respect from them to himself. In short, the gentlemanly character arises out of the feeling of equality acting as a habit, yet flexible to the varieties of rank, modified without being disturbed or superseded by them. Definitions of a gentleman are numerous and some of them famous, but we do not find such copiousness for choice in definitions of a lady. Perhaps it has been understood all along that the admirable and just characteristics of a gentleman should of necessity be those of a lady, with the charm and womanhood combined, and in these days with the added responsibility of the vote. In these days. Besides the significance of this volume as an indubitable authority on manners, it should be pointed out that as a social document it is without precedent in American literature. In order that we may better realize the behavior and environment of well-bred people, the distinguished author has introduced actual persons and places in fictional guise. Oh, so Mr. Worldly and all these people are real people, but like named differently. Huh. They are the persons and the places of her own world, and whether we can or not penetrate the incognito of the worldlies, the gildings, the kind hearts, the old names, and the others is of no importance. Fictionally, they are real enough for us to be interested and instructed in their ways of living. Okay, wait, sorry. That they happen to move in what is known as society's incidental. For, as the author declares at the very best society is not a fellowship of the wealthy, nor does it seek to exclude those who are not of exalted birth, but it is an association of gentlefolk, of which good form in speech, charm of manner, knowledge of the social amenities, and instinctive consideration for the feelings of others are the credentials by which society the world over recognizes its chosen members. The immediate fact is that the characters of this book are thoroughbred Americans, representative of various sections of the country and free from the slightest tinge of snobbery. Not all of them are even well-to-do in the post-war sense, and their devices of economy and household outlay, dress, and entertainment are a revelation in the science of ways and means. There are parents, children, relatives, and friends all passing before us in the pageant of life from the cradle to the grave. No circumstance, from an introduction to a wedding, is overlooked in this panorama, and the spectator has beside him a cicerone in the person of the author who clears every doubt and answers every question. In course, the conviction grows upon him that etiquette is no flummery of posers aping the manners of their betters. That's totally what the guy in the tweet was thinking. Nor a code of snobs. That's what the guy was literally saying. It's not a code of snobs who divide their time between licking the... This is what the guy was saying in this tweet. In course, the conviction grows upon him that etiquette is no flummery of posers, aping the manners of their betters, nor a code of snobs who divide their time between licking the boots of those above them and kicking those below, but a system of rules of conduct based on respect of self coupled with respect of others. Meanwhile, to guard against conceit in his new knowledge, he may at odd moments recall Ben Jonson's lines. Nor stand so much on your gentility, which is an airy and demure borrowed thing from dead men's dust and bones, and none of yours, except you make or hold it. I have to work on myself on being more gentlemanly. Yeah, that's the whole point of all this, and it's what like really pissed me off about that tweet. Being a gentleman is a gangster. Deportment, I'm literally shaking. Intercourse. I know, they say social intercourse a lot. I really want to read you guys What's Best Society too, if you don't mind. It's just really short. And then I'll get out of here. It's been over 3 hours, so... Fuck. Society is an ambiguous term. It may mean much or nothing. Every human being, unless dwelling alone in a cave, is a member of society or of one sort or another, and therefore it is well to define what is to be understood by the term best society and why its authority is recognized. Best society abroad is always the oldest aristocracy. composed not so much of persons of title, which may be new, as of those families and communities which have, for the longest periods of time, known highest cultivation. Our own best society, because we don't have that here in America, is represented by social groups which have had, since this is America, widest rather than longest association with old world cultivation. Cultivation is the word, man. Sorry, got a message from my roommate. Okay. Where was I? Cultivation. Our own best society is represented by social groups which have had, since this is America, widest rather than longest association with old world cultivation. Cultivation is always the basic attribute of best society, much as we hear in this country of an aristocracy of wealth. Aristocracy of wealth? I don't know how to say it. I just think of aristocrats. To the general public, a long purse, do you like how I say like a lot of money? To the general public, a long purse is synonymous with high position, a theory dear to the heart of the yellow press. I don't know what that means. And eagerly fostered in the preposterous social functions of screen drama. It is true that best society is comparatively rich. It is true that the hostess of great wealth, who can constantly and lavishly entertains, will shine, at least to the readers of the press. More brilliant. I don't know what yellow means still, though. More brilliantly, anyway, so it is true that the hostess of great wealth, who constantly and lavishly entertains, will shine, at least to the readers of the press, more brilliantly than her less affluent sister. Yet the latter, through her quality of birth, her poise, her inimitable distinction, is often the jewel of deeper water in the social crown of her time. The most advertised commodity is not always intrinsically the best, but is sometimes merely the product of a company with plenty of money to spend on advertising. The same way money brings certain people before the public, sometimes they are persons of quality, quite as often as the so-called society leaders featured in the public press do not belong to good society at all, in spite of their many published photographs and energies of their press agents. Or possibly they do belong to smart society, but if too much advertised instead of being the queens they seem, they might more accurately be classified as the court gesture of today. And then we have this really, 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 really good piece on the invitation and the genuine. Okay, are you guys ready? What are you guys talking about? You can hear Italians yelling in the background. There is social intercourse happening outside your window. That's true. Reminds me of a certain society I know and love. Yes, okay, so the imitation and the genuine. This is something I actually filmed like last year, and I never edited it and put it out, but I really like this little section right here. So New York, more than any city in the world, unless it be Paris, loves to be amused, thrilled, and surprised all at the same time. True. And will accept with outstretched hand anyone who can perform this outstanding feat. Do not underestimate the ability that can achieve it. A scintillating wit, an arresting originality, a talent for entertaining that amounts to genius, and gold poured literally like rain are the least requirements. Puritan America, on the other hand, demanding as a ticket of admission to her best society the qualifications of birth, manners, and cultivation, clasp her hands tight across her slim trim waist and announce severely that New York's best is, in her opinion, very bad indeed. But this is because Puritan America, as well as the general public, mistake the gesture for the queen. As a matter of fact, best society is not at all like a court with an especial queen or king. nor is it confined to any one place or group, but might better be described as an unlimited brotherhood which spreads over the entire surface of the globe, the members of which are invariably people of cultivation and worldly knowledge, who have not only perfect manners, but a perfect manner. Manners are made up of trivialities of deportment which can be easily learned if one does not happen to know them. Manner is personality, the outward manifestation of one's innate character and attitude towards life. A gentleman, for instance, will never be ostentatious or overbearing any more than he will be, A gentleman, for instance, will never be ostentatious or overbearing any more than he will ever be servile, because these attributes never animate the impulses of a well-bred person. A man whose manner suggests the grotesque is invariably a person of imitation rather than of real position. Etiquette must, if it is to be of more than trifling use, include ethics as well as manners. Certainly what one is of far greater importance than what one appears to be. A knowledge of etiquette is of course essential to one's decent behavior, just as clothing is essential to one's decent appearance. And precisely as one wears the latter without being self-conscious of having on shoes or perhaps gloves, one who has good manners is equally unself-conscious in the observance of etiquette, the precepts of which must be so thoroughly absorbed as to make their observance a matter of instinct rather than of conscious obedience. Thus, best society is not a fellowship of the wealthy, nor does it seek to exclude those who are not of exalted birth, but it is an association of gentlefolk, of which good form in speech, charm of manner, knowledge of the social amenities, the instinctive consideration for the feelings of others, and the credentials by which society the world over recognizes its chosen members. So yeah, just like that really punches the point of like, no, what people are thinking about etiquette is wrong. This is good. This is needed. Hell yes, Servile's whack. I need Martina audio tapes. No. Bye, Dave Incognito. Yellow press means yellow journalism. Shit takers. Shit talker? Oh, shit talkers. Ah. Yellow press shit talkers. Huh. Didn't know that. Alright, yeah, well, my roommate said that there's a quesadilla waiting on the counter for me, and I've been here for 3.5 hours, so I'm about to put this hair up and let some air in this room and get the fuck out of here. So, thanks guys so much. It was fun. I thought it was fun. I love this shit. Sorry about my little bitchings here and there. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. It's my birthday. It depends. I am going to be on Hotep Jesus, so check out for a link. Oh, thanks, Dave Norris. He says, enjoying this, a publisher should hire you to read the entire audiobook. It's true. I'm better when I've like actually read it, because like those chapters that like I was reading like decently is because like I've read it before, but like when I don't know if I've read everything in this book, but for the most part, like even if I have read something before in the past, like because I've owned this like actual book for like decades. In fact, for one of my previous birthdays, I have my sister from like a decade ago or whatever got me this book she found at like an old bookshop or something, and it's an old Emily Post book. But so I've definitely read things. I'm not sure which editions I've had to, because I feel like some of them were a little different, and I found this one specifically because it's the one that had like this bit about the genuine stuff and the fake imitation. And yeah, so there's a few chapters that I really like, and so I've read it a few times and I've really like thought about it, so that's why I'm better at reading it. But a lot of the chapters that like I'm going through it for the first time with you so I'm like struggling through. It's better if I've like actually just read the paragraph real quick and then I reread it to you guys. Maybe I should do that. Next time I'll just like read the chapter before I go on stream and it'll be better. So let's see. I'll try to catch that Hotep Jesus stream. Happy birthday if I don't catch you, Martina. Thanks. Spooky said, I listened to the stream while getting pages inked up for the comic. Cheers for the read and chat. Now I'm trying to eat some quesadillas too. Sounds good. Oh god, I'm a mess. Okay. Thanks guys. Thank you. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Big 3-5, so it's a big one, I think. Love you guys. Bye.